And that means the weekend is just around the corner. A good morning to you all. You are welcome to the Koko Digest Morning Show. I am your host, Yaira Awuno. We're coming to you live from the studios of Clock TV. You can also catch us on GoTV channel 184. And if you're on your way to work or wherever you are, which is not the comfort of your home, you can join us on Facebook or on YouTube on our live stream. Just look for Clock TV and join in the conversation there. So today's conversations are very loaded. So today's morning show is also coming with a little bit of a twist. So we don't have our online review today. We are going to have a very extended main discussion. So it's open for us to join in the conversation, send in our comments. We'll be talking about the decongestion exercise going on. We'll also be talking about the floods and what, our institutions are going to be doing about it. And on the lifestyle segment, we'll be talking about the importance of learning. And of course, business and sports will be bringing us sports and business news as always. So it's time for our motivational quotes for today. So let's prepare our hearts to be inspired. It's time for our motivational quote, and as always, we like to motivate our viewers so that they can use that to inspire themselves as their day goes on. And of course, as we're entering into the weekend, we need to be inspired for the weekend as always. So today's quote says, "Self-care is giving the world the best of you instead of what is left of you." Self-care is giving the world the best of you instead of what is left of you. And this is by Katie Reed. Now, this quote highlights the importance of prioritizing one's own well-being or self-care. And, it's basically trying to tell us that take care of yourself so you can take care of others. Take care of yourself so you can take care of others. As we usually hear, they tell us that you cannot pour from an empty cup. So if you don't take care of yourself, how then do you take care of others? Now, there are some key points here that we need to take note of so that we can also employ that, because in our kindness and in our generosity to others, we also need to make sure we are extending that to ourselves. As I would take a page from Miriam and Clement's books using the Bible says that we should love our neighbors as ourselves. So any kindness, any generosity, any love we're extending to others, we need to make sure we are extending that to ourselves. I think sometimes we even hear people say that buying something nice for themselves seems to be a tedious task, but when they are buying for people they love, it's more easy, or it's easier for them to do. That is something that is not very healthy to ourselves. So let's take some of these key points. So the first one is prioritizing self-care. By taking care of yourself mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, we can also now show that care to other people, because if you're exhausted, where then do you find the energy to show care, show love to others? Now, the next one is our energy and resources. Self-care ensures that you have the energy and resources to tackle challenges. So if we are extending or giving all our energy and resources to other people, what then is left for us to also use for our own challenges? When you're showing up for others and you're not showing up for yourself, you will deplete all your energy and resources. And this tends to happen in so many spheres of our life. And I'm sure as I'm even speaking, you're getting flashes of some of the things that tend to happen. And then the last one is sustainability. So now, prioritizing self-care helps to prevent burnout. So now, if you take care of yourself, you won't be finding yourself too tired to help others, too tired to show up for others. Of course, each and every one of us has our own problems, but when we also try to take care of ourselves, in addition to helping others, we are able to also sustain ourselves. Now, let's take some practical applications. So yes, the first one is to set boundaries. So we have to learn how to say no. How much is too much? What are our limits? Do we continually keep giving and giving and giving without giving to ourselves? These are some of the questions we need to ask ourselves. Then the next one is self-reflection. Regularly check in with yourself to assess your well-being. There are times where we could be going through something so tough and someone comes to us needing advice. You need to check in with yourself. Do I have the capability to show up for this person even though I'm going through this? If no, we need to learn to say no and try to help ourselves first before we come to show up for the others. Then the last one is saying self-care activities. So engage in activities that nourish your mind, your body, and soul. That could be exercise, that could be taking a retreat, that could be reading, that could just even going off our social media for some time. Each person has what they do that tends to help them replenish their energies. So I hope that as we have shared this quote with you, as you go through the weekend, go through your day to day, you are inspired to take care of yourself so you can take care of others. My co-host is here with me because we are going to have the lifestyle segment very soon. So Miriam Abnadide is here. What do you think and what should we expect for lifestyle?
All right, Sarah, thank you very much, and a very good morning to our viewers. When you were just talking about self-care, something just came in mind, which has to do with emotional self-care. The fact that we need to practice, mindfulness. We need to always, be on our guard, that we have to be in the right state of mind so that we can express that to people. And also social self-care is very important, and that is why the lifestyle conversation is very important. Today's lifestyle, we are going to be talking about how we are impacting society through learning and also books. So yeah.
Right. Thank you so much. Up next is the lifestyle segment. So yes, Miriam and her guest will be here to impact society through learning. Stay tuned.
To add all those test thoughts to like application to something like this. Oh, that's quick. That's crazy. That was quick. He's gonna be able to draw level. Yeah. Wow. Wow.
Aims to provide a robust platform for in-depth discussions surrounding employment relations, the rights of workers, the quest for industrial harmony, and evolving landscape of work. Walatu Walasa seeks to bring to bear the challenges and opportunities facing the labor force today, making a significant contribution to public discourse. My name is Edmond Akwe, your host for Walatu Walasa.
Asamu maumatia yamane diania ubinka ziputuishi nesashia ibitini
ni wari oba biase obo ba wu ba be mama mi bebe se bebi mi sese wunu ye
wala ka cho kana na hunu ho kan hunu ho no anko ne yiri pani na wo ba ko
e ba be aba no ma no
nye buska pani atrase ahedin oyire no mu mienu obi ni ma ma oba be
ikita mi se ko se onye ma do e me nya ye fu na me se me wo baby
ko sie e fi wisa ba sada no e fi atati kwatati
wo ma ha mama kan chiro so na nanu eni ma akora no hwe
nim si amamro phone aye ni pa moja na ya pa yen obetima sesa no so bu eni guso e sai abrodi be yen un be so be yen
ahom ketu amaba mu dwama no
e bani fosi be bia de ni dara se wan fan to ba be feto
wo ba da ben a obesesa amamre nimpo amamre na obesesa no
In a world where neutrality in the civil service is paramount, Ghana finds itself at a crossroad.
Closak says that a certain action should be taken, but government has to act on the basis of law. So we inquired as to what the premise for that demand is.
They say if you wish to broadcast or otherwise manifest your political allegiance or run political office, step away from the services. This is Supreme Court talking. It's not Closak speaking or Isaac Wampado speaking. This is the Supreme Court.
The Supreme Court judgment on the landmark case of Closak versus the Attorney General has set the stage for a profound transformation. Introducing Resetting the Civil Service. Tune in to be part of this change, because a better civil service means a better Ghana.
I find it refreshing always when I remind myself of the profound statement by the eminent civil servant, the Tan Anankwa of blessed memory, to the effect that it is the perfection of the civil servant that will move this country forward, and not the politician.
Hi music lovers, we are the Prospagma.
To get ready for an unforgettable music experience on our upcoming
So everybody loves Amrado now. How is the journey like? Tell us.
Younger, YKA.
Welcome back. Now, today on the lifestyle segment is yet another time where we throw light on people doing so well for their communities, impacting lives, you know, impacting the society positively. And that is the conversation we are going to be having here in the studio. We have a young man here with us who is going to share his journey with us, how he has positively impacted his community by, reading and also books. Before we start with the conversation, let's look at something. So we went out to interact with people, finding out the importance of reading and the mediums through which they want or prefer to read. And so some said they like the hard copy. Others also said they like to read from their phones. Let's take a look at that. When we come back, we'll get into the conversation.
Scenes dominate our attention, the simple act of reading a book often takes a backseat. But why do some still choose the pages of a book over the glow of a screen? Books connect us to ideas, cultures, and stories that enrich our lives. Here are some views from individuals who cherish the written word. They shared their thoughts on the importance of reading and the vital role it plays in fostering community and learning.
It's one of the things that has helped me personally to grow in all aspects of my life, both spiritually and mentally. So it depends. I mean, I read minimum 4 books a month.
It's like for fiction, you are reading the thing, but then you are creating the story in your own mind. So it's let your imagination. You can imagine the thing you are. It's better than the movie that is just guiding you. That watch this and watch this. So for my phone, I actually like hard copy books, but for my phone, it's just it's comics and stuff like that. Yeah.
For me, I prefer hard copy because when you're using the phone, it might actually trigger you to open site that you don't feel like opening. So I like the hard copies, and I always underline whatever I read so that for reference sake, you can go back to it. You need to sharpen your brain. And as you sharpen your knives in the kitchen to cut well, the same way you need to sharpen your brain. Even the good book Bible says, when you don't sharpen an instrument and you are using it, you need to exert more strength. So when you sharpen it, you just need a little strength to make that thing useful.
It depends. It depends. Sometimes reading from your phone is better. It depends on the circumstance. Probably at night, you just want to sleep, you just want to relax, and you think holding a hard copy is the best means, because at night, if you want to sleep, spending more time on the screen is not advisable. So we prefer that option of reading from a hard copy.
I do enjoy reading books because it sends you to the mind of the writer, and it informs you and educates you. So yes, I love to read. I love to read from hard copy. Yeah. The reason is, I think looking at me, my generation is from behind, so I love to read hard copy, and I'm more comfortable with that. I guess it gives a little train to my eye.
Right. And from the videos we just saw, it is very clear that people still value, books. And that is why this conversation is very important. They told us their mediums, their preferred mediums of reading. Some said they like to read from their phones, but many of them said they like to read from the hard copy. And that should tell you why it is very important to impact your society by sharing books. And this young man in the studio today has been doing that for some time now. And so he's going to share his with us. So let's get straight into the conversation. But please be reminded that we are streaming live on Facebook and also YouTube. You can send in your comments to our WhatsApp number, which will be displayed on the screen and also via our streaming platforms, and we'll read all your comments out. You need to support the segment. So send in your comments. Kelvin Osei Boateng is the General Secretary of Souls of Hope Foundation, and he is my guest for today. Hello, Kelvin.
Hello, Mariam.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Miriam.
Miriam, okay. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Have you had your breakfast yet?
I'm still grieving from yesterday's game. So
You're a Manchester fan.
I'm a staunch Manchester United fan. So
okay, so briefly, how did you feel when you lost?
I almost missed this interview.
I feel your pain, and I'm sorry about that. You need to support better teams.
I'm not.
Anyways, that was just by the way. Now, Souls of Hope Foundation, tell us about it. How did it start? Anything.
Okay. So, Souls of Hope is a non-governmental organization. It's a non-profit organization which was founded in 2018 by Dr. Opokua Osei Yeboah and Mr. Fred Osei Yeboah in 2018. And the main mission of Souls of Hope is to provide educational supplies, combat the water crisis, donate shoes, clothing to deprived communities. Yes, so along the line, while we were doing this, we realized that there was a need to also do something regarding education. Because when you go to these rural areas, the things that we see so common in these cities like books, schools, are not so common over there. Example, shoes. You'll be surprised to find out that many people walk barefooted to schools and then they don't even have pencils and those stuff. So that is why Souls of Hope is trying to bridge that gap. Yes.
So what really inspired you into, donating books and also building libraries for communities?
Okay. So personally, growing up, I really loved reading. Yes, I really loved reading novels and storybooks, and I think it's really helped me a lot. It enhanced my vocabulary, and I was always abreast with issues because I love to read. I love to read newspapers, so I was somehow always ahead of my peers. Yes, so I think when these kids come in also have that access to these things, it's really going to help. It's really going to help. But personally, it has really helped me.
Okay.
Yes.
I know it has helped you, and I also know it has helped the students. But how did you feel when you realized that this donation has really impacted in the lives of these young people? How was the feeling like?
The feeling was great. The feeling was great. And then when you go to these places and then you realize that yes, what the books you gave them are really helping them. There is this great inner feeling that you get. Yes.
I see.
Yeah.
So it's just about, you feeling great about what you've done.
Yes.
And you usually get support from people in doing that, right?
Sometimes it comes. Sometimes it comes. Yeah.
So far, what changes have you seen in the communities that you donated to?
Okay, so I'm going to use Pandai as an example. Pandai in the northern region. We built a library there in 2022, and then since then, there has been increased academic performance over there. The teachers in the school have been, texting us, telling us that, the kids don't sleep.
Okay.
You go to the library at as late as 10 p.m. and then you find them there reading storybooks, doing their homework in the library, and what have you. So I think it has increased academic performance over there.
I see.
Yeah.
Now, we know this is easy to say.
Yes.
Even when someone is doing it, from where we sit, we see it as, oh, this is so easy. But when you get into it, it's very, very challenging. Tell us about some of your challenges.
As for the challenges, there are a lot of challenges, but I'm going to highlight the major challenges that we face as an organization. The main challenge that we face is limited funding.
Okay.
Yes, there is a saying that Noah looked like an idiot when he was building the ark until it started to rain. So some of these things, when you are starting, is very difficult until you get to a certain point. People get to realize that, oh yeah, they are really working. So limited funding. And also another major issue is shifting the cultural mindset.
Sure.
Yes, because when you go to places like the North, it's all about going to the farm, coming back, riding pragya and those kind of stuff. So shifting the cultural mindset is very difficult. Like when we go to donate these books, some people would rather wish we come and donate cutlasses, hoes, and those stuff for farming. So they somehow see it as non-essential. But I think gradually, people are beginning to adapt to the idea.
So these two challenges are
the major challenges we face as an organization.
We are Ghanaians.
Yes.
We always face challenges.
Yes.
Yet we don't know where help is going to come from.
Sure.
So we've been taught or trained to always find, solutions to our challenges.
Yeah.
As you sit here, how do you think you can, solicit for funds to support your own, foundation? Because you said funding is a major problem.
Yeah.
So how do you, get people on board?
Yes, we reach out to some entities, we sometimes when we get the funding to do these things, we go back, we show them the videos, and then it encourages them to do more for us. So I think gradually, we are getting there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And I know sometimes it gets demotivating. You don't feel like doing it again. You don't feel like going to donate. But what keeps you going? What keeps you going to still push to support these communities?
So what keeps us going is when we go out to donate these books or clothes or educational supplies, the smiles from the beaming faces of these young children really keeps us going.
Yeah.
And then also the dreams. Sometimes you go there, you speak to these kids, and then you ask him, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you tell you he wants to be a pilot. He will tell you, I want to be a teacher. So that keeps us going, We want to be able to say that, or we want someone to be able to say that I was able to become a pilot through Souls of Hope.
Yeah.
Because in my town, we had no library or we had no school, but Souls of Hope came to build a library for us, and I used to go there to read every night, and today I am a pilot. Yeah. That alone is going to make us feel fulfilled.
I see.
Yeah.
You told me you built a library for a community.
The organization.
The organization
yes.
built. Sorry, I'm saying you.
Yeah, it's an organization.
Because you represent the organization. You built a library.
Yes.
Okay, and you also donated a lot of books.
Books, yeah.
Producer, can we have a look at that, the donation, the library, so that our viewers would see the good work this young man and his, organization are doing? Okay, so they are working on it.
Okay.
But for you, why do you think reading is very critical in our communities? Why do you think? Because I've realized that we've gotten to a point where people do not even consider or regard the act of reading. Why do you think it's very important?
Okay, so reading is very important, and we cannot downplay the importance of reading. Yes, because reading improves vocabulary, it builds confidence, it also builds the youth for a better future. Yes, because there are a lot you can find in books that you won't find anywhere. So reading really builds the youth for a better future.
And do you see yourself doing this for a very long time?
Yes.
Like how many years?
Okay, so the plan is to build 100 libraries in 10 years.
Okay.
Yes, so we are just getting started. We are planning to build a library in each region, and then also move to West Africa and then beyond. So currently, we've built a library in the northern region. We are building one in the eastern region.
Okay.
That's Achim Mase, and then we are also building one in the Greater Accra region. That's Dome. Yes.
Okay.
Dome.
You are still on it.
The IT lab is ready with internet and everything, and it's working. So it's the books. We are expecting some books. Yeah, and so I think by next month we should be operating fully.
But is it too easy to, build, a facility like that as an organization? Usually we see governments doing that, but is it very easy? Tell us your challenges. People are watching.
It's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy at all.
Yeah.
Sometimes even to get this, because sometimes we receive books from outside, from the diaspora, and sometimes to even ship them, it's a problem. We are facing some slight issues with GRA and stuff, so to even them is a problem. So we are really facing a lot of challenges. But as I said earlier on, the challenges, the smiles and then the dreams of these young people just keeps us going, because when we stop today, who is going to continue? Yes, so those are the kind of challenges that we've been.
Do you guys see yourself partnering with government in the future?
We are very open to partnerships.
Okay.
We are because anything to keep the dream going. Yes, we are very open to individual partnership, corporate partnerships, volunteerism, and all that. We are very open
Sure.
to all that. Yes.
Right. So what's the vision for Souls of Hope organization? What's the vision, the bigger, vision, aside education? What else are you looking at doing?
Okay, so we are trying to level the playing ground for all these kids, because when you look at our educational system, the students or the pupils in the Montessori's and then those in the DAs and the MAs and those in the rural areas are all supposed to meet at the top.
Yeah.
They are supposed to write the same examination, but then they don't have the same resources. So how then do we balance the two? So that is where we come in, yes, to help bridge that gap, yes. And also we are also looking at ending or curbing the issue of child slavery in Ghana. Yes, that's another long-term goal. So currently we've acquired some acres of land in Akuse that we are planning to build a shelter to curb this child slavery issue. So those are the kind of things that we are doing.
We have a comment here. This is coming from Amma inside Pukwase, and she's saying, please, how do I join this? Do you have branches across Ghana? I don't know what she means by branches, but I mean, the first aspect of the question is understandable. Yes. How does she join the organization?
So she can just contact us. We have our emails, we have our telephone numbers, and then I'm going to, at the end of the show, I'm going to give out my number and then also the email of the organization. And also our website is also open. So I'm going to give all that information before I leave.
I see. Yeah. Right. So if individuals, schools, government, anyone wants to support you, how can they support you? In what, areas or aspects?
Okay. So because of what we are doing, I mean, the libraries and the computer labs we are building, we would be very glad if individuals or schools, as you mentioned, can donate books. Yes, mainly books, reading books, novels and all those stuff to us to, keep on what we are doing. And also funding too is very important. So if someone watching us would like to, donate support to us, we have our means of receiving donations.
We'll give that out, but something just came in mind. The issue of accountability. People would not want to donate or support organizations when they do not know how you're going to account for it. Even you say you want to build 10 libraries and 100. Then people, 100.
Yeah.
People donate so much that it can even build more.
Yeah.
Yet some people would, pocket. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
So how do you ensure accountability?
Okay, so we have our social media handles. Our website too is there. You can go on our website, www.soulsofhope.org, to look at the kind of things we have been doing. The library we've built, the boreholes, the IT labs we've built, they are all on there. So for the issues of accountability, I don't think it's a problem.
How long have you been operating?
We've been in operation since 2019, before the COVID. So during the COVID, we went out on the street to donate some hand sanitizers, liquid soaps.
Says, are the pictures and videos ready so that we can see them?
Yeah.
Viewers want to see what this young man has been doing. Just play them so that we can see, please. Please continue.
Yeah, so after donating these essentials, we also go out to donate shoes, clothing, and all those stuff. So yeah, we've been in operation since 2019.
2019.
Yes.
That's a very long time.
Yes.
Okay, so 6 years. So what we have on the screen, you can.
Okay.
So we have.
So
this was a donation.
This was we're opening the library.
Okay.
Yes, we're opening the library at Bandai.
Okay.
And you can see how these young kids were eager to enter the building. Even at the end, they even broke the burglar proof and
We'll even come to that maintenance culture.
Yes. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we see the others, please?
Yeah, so that's me.
That's the library.
Yes, that's the library at Bandai.
Okay.
Yeah. You can see the books on the shelves.
Wow.
We're still setting up the place.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow. 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 This is so inspiring. I mean, it is so inspiring knowing the essence of reading and how it impacts, generations, and taking it upon yourself as an organization to impact lives is something that we need to, shed light on so that people come on board to support you. We are so happy that your organization is embarking on this. And just as our topic says, lighten the path, empowering youth through books and learning. We are very happy to be a part of this, to give you the platform to let people see what you're doing.
I think we also need to shed some light on the president and then the vice president of the organization. I think I have the picture.
You have the. Can we have the picture of the president and then the vice, a man and
Together.
a woman?
Yeah.
They are together. Okay, I think they are working on it. But if anyone is watching you, like, what advice will you give to them in terms of, supporting communities, volunteerism, anything? What advice will you give to them?
Okay, so my advice to, is when you have, you have to give. Yeah, when you have, you have to give. And then also sometimes you can volunteer, with other organizations, or you can volunteer with us, or people who are actually doing same thing. So, and then to the young people out there too, reading is very important. Even if it's a page a day that you want to read, it's going to get somewhere.
Yeah.
It's going to get somewhere.
Now let's get to the I say very interesting part where people get to support you. So you can put out your number, your social media handles, so people follow you.
Okay. So on Instagram, we are on Instagram at Souls of Hope.
Okay.
The Souls is SOLES, which means feet.
Okay.
Yes. So Souls of Hope, and then also you can on Facebook too. We are on Facebook as Souls of Hope, and then our website to www.soulsofhope.org.
Okay.
Yes, you can go on our website and look at some of the things we have been doing, and also you can donate through our website. We have a PayPal account that we can donate through, and then also
no Momo number.
We don't really take,
you don't do Momo.
We don't really do
okay.
Momo. Okay. So in case you want to donate, you can just contact me on 055-815-8752, and I'm going to direct you on how you can donate.
Thank you very much for making it today on the show. Kelvin Osei-Boateng is the General Secretary of Souls of Hope Foundation, and he was our guest for the lifestyle segment as we discussed ways of lighting the path for young people, empowering them through learning and also books. He and his organization have donated a lot of things to their communities. And as part of our lifestyle segment, we feel it is very important that we throw more light on that so that we as individuals get that or adapt that kind of lifestyle. So moving forward, we can also be supporting or giving back to our communities in so many ways. Thank you so much for tuning in with us here on the lifestyle segment. We have a lot of conversations coming your way right after the birthday segment. Stay with us and let us celebrate some amazing personalities.
I heard today was your birthday. I heard today was your birthday.
Right, so we have one birthday celebrant today. Let's take the birthday wish and then we can call it a day. Okay, to my mom, Patricia Konama Kote, God bless you for being a true Proverbs 31 woman. I love you, Mama. This is from Nanayao. To my mom, Patricia Konama Kote, God bless you for being a true Proverbs 31 woman. I love you, Mama. Thank you for bringing in your birthday message. Right. Thank you so much for bringing in your birthday message. We'll also be taking them so that we wish you on Tuesday and Thursday, God willing, here on the Koko Digest Morning Show. I am Miriam Abna Adede. Up next is the sports and business segment. Manchester supporters, please stay tuned so that you see, you see your fate. Okay, so right after this, sports and business is up.
To add all those test spots, like application to something like this. Oh, that's quick. That's crazy. That was quick. He's going to be able to draw a level. Yeah. Wow. Wow.
In-depth discussions surrounding employment relations, the rights of workers, the quest for industrial harmony, and evolving landscape of work. Walatu Walasa seeks to bring to bear the challenges and opportunities facing the labor force today, making a significant contribution to public discourse. My name is Edmond Akwe, your host for Walatu Walasa.
In a world where neutrality in the civil service is paramount, Ghana finds itself at a crossroad.
CLOSAG says that a certain action should be taken, but government has to act on the basis of law. So we inquired as to what the premise for that demand is.
They say if you wish to broadcast or otherwise manifest your political allegiance or run political office, step away from the services. This is Supreme Court talking. It's not CLOSAG speaking or Isaac Wampado speaking. This is the Supreme Court.
The Supreme Court judgment on the landmark case of CLOSAG versus the Attorney General has set the stage for a profound transformation. Introducing Resetting the Civil Service. Tune in to be part of this change, because a better civil service means a better Ghana.
I find it refreshing always when I remind myself of the profound statement by the eminent civil servant, the Tan Anankwa of blessed memory, to the effect that it is the perfection of the civil servant that will move this country forward, and not the politician.
Asamu maumachi demani diania ubinka sebutunshi lesashia ibikini ni wari oba biase oba bu ba mama mi bebe se bebi sese wunye
kana ka cho kana na hunu kanu hunu wanu anko ne yiri na wo baako
e ba be aba no mano
Nebu stepani atrase ahedin oyire no mu mienu yi obi ni ma ma oba be
kitani se ukosie onye mado emenya yefo na me se me wo baby
okosie efi wisa eba sada na efi atati kwatati
wa mahama man kan chiro so na nanu enima akola na hwe
ni si amamro phone ayedi nipa moja na ya pae no obetima sesa no so buene guso esa abrani beyenti umbeso obeyen
ahom keto amaba mu dwamo no
ebeni fosi be bi ade ni dara se wan fanto ba
be freto
wo ba da bɛn a wobɛsesa amammerɛ nimpo amammerɛ na wobɛ
Hello, lovely viewers. Good morning and welcome to the Sports Update segment on your favorite morning show, the Koko Digest Morning Show. Here we'll bring you nothing but the best in the world of sports. We are covering both actions coming from the international world and in our local world. I am your host, Benedict Nketia Kwating. Join me as we dive into the world of sports. Now to the headlines. Michael Ampadu to leave Hearts of Oak at the end of the season. Midiama SC eyes Isaka Mohammed from Inswatriman FC. Leicester City faces potential points deduction over financial breaches. Europa League final highlights. So the main story. Michael Ampadu is leaving Accra Hearts of Oak when his contract ends after the 2024-2025 season. The club isn't planning to keep him. The 26-year-old defender will be free to join another team in July 2025 after just over a year with Hearts of Oak. The main reason for his departure seems to be a strained relationship with the coach. Ampadu played less after new players arrived, though he still made 21 appearances this season with 2 assists. The club is rebuilding after a disappointing season and has decided not to renew his contract. Ampadu is now looking at offers from teams in Ghana and Europe. Mediama SC eyes Isaka Mohammed from Inswatriman FC. Mediama FC is looking to bring in Isaka Mohammed, the defender from Inswatriman FC, to strengthen their team for the upcoming 2025-2026 season. Mohammed, who is 30 years old, has a history in the Ghana Premier League with previous stints at Elmina Sharks and Legon Cities FC. He has a crucial player for Inswatriman FC, even earning the title of the team's best defender, according to the fans. Although he hasn't had much playing time recently, Mediama is still interested in acquiring him to reinforce their defensive line. Now to the international sports news. The Foxes have been referred to an independent commission after being charged by the Premier League for an alleged profit and sustainability (PSR) breach for the year 2023-2024. When they were in the championship, Leicester City is facing charges from the Premier League for a potential financial breach, with the Premier League now confirmed to have jurisdiction. This follows a period of back and forth between leagues for the club. The case is expected to be resolved quickly, potentially leading to a points deduction that could affect Leicester's championship season in 2025-2026. And now to the Europa League. Spurs ended their 17-year wait for a trophy as Brennan Johnson's first half goal was enough to beat Manchester United in the Europa League final against Manchester United, after securing a Champions League spot, will receive £100 million bonus, joining Newcastle and Crystal Palace in celebrating a successful season. The sports update segment. My name is Benedict Nketia Kwarting. Next is the business segment with Clement.
Good morning. Welcome to the Business Update segment. I am Clement Siabankwe. Now, on to our stories. The governor of Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Isiama, has indicated that the Ghanaian cedi is expected to remain stable in the long term. Speaking at the opening of the Monetary Policy Committee meeting on 21st May 2025, he attributed the positive outlook to effective monetary policy measures implemented by the central bank, which continue to anchor inflation and boost investor confidence.
Asiama reassured both investors and the general public that the recent gains made by the cedi are sustainable. He linked the currency's steady appreciation to a mix of sound microeconomic management, favorable market sentiment, and improvement in the country's external sector. He further pointed to Ghana's progress under the IMF Extended Credit Facility Program, highlighting that although some conditions are yet to be met, the economic direction is encouraging. The recent upgrade of Ghana's sovereign rating by S&P from selective default to CCC+ was noted as a strong signal of renewed investor confidence. Additionally, the Bank of Ghana governor emphasized improvements in the country's external reserves and trade balance, supported by growing consumer and business confidence.
Still on cedi appreciation, Dennis Amfusefa, President.
Additionally, inconsistencies in how exchange rates are applied at the figures. The inconsistencies, he said, come from private entities such as shipping lines, which often use their own exchange rates to determine charges like demurrage. These rates are not standardized and can vary, creating additional financial pressure on importers. He also criticized the Ghana Shippers Authority for not effectively addressing these discrepancies, arguing that the lack of regulation over shipping lines is negatively impacting trade and business.
Now, on the energy sector, Ghana energy sector is showing renewed confidence as Tulu Ghana and its partners kick off fresh drilling activities in the Jubilee oil field. The start of a 2-year drilling campaign this May marks a renewed commitment to strengthening the country's oil and gas industry. This initiative is anticipated to boost oil output and improve overall operational performance in one of the region's most important oil fields.
The project presents a valuable opportunity to discover commercially viable oil reserves. Increased production combined with favorable global oil prices could significantly enhance the country's revenue from upstream petroleum sector. Despite this positive development, concerns remain about the recent decline in oil production. Annual output has dropped from over 70 million barrels to about 48 million in the past 5 years, highlighting challenges in the sector. The drilling campaign is viewed as a critical move to reverse this trend and attract new foreign investment to support the industry's growth. The project.
Thank you for staying with us for the business update segment, and that's all we have for you. I am Clement Yabankwe. Do enjoy the rest of the show.
To add all those test pots like application to something like this. Yes.
Alright, that's quick. That's crazy. That was quick. He's gonna be able to draw a level. Yeah. Wow. Wow.
for in-depth discussions surrounding employment relations, the rights of workers, the quest for industrial harmony, and evolving landscape of work. Walatu Walasa seeks to bring to bear the challenges and opportunities facing the labor force today, making a significant contribution to public discourse.
My name is Edmond Akwe, your host for Walatu Walasa.
Whatever. Asamu maumachi ya mane diania. Ubi kasi putu unshi. Lesa shia. Ibe kene kapi. Ningwari oba biase. Wapapa uba be mama mi. Bebe se bebi msese unye.
Mana kacho ukuna na hunu wo. Kanu hunu wanu kwa nini yiripeni na ubako.
Babe. Abano mano. Nyebo stepeni atrasi ya hedi. Oyire numu mienui. Ubi ni mama oba be.
Ikitani nsemu kosye. Onye mado. Eminya yefu. Name wabaegi. Koko efi wisa. Ewa. Sada na. Efi atati kwatati.
Wa mahama man kanchiro so na nanu enima akola na hwe.
Ni si amamro phone ayedi nipa moja na ya pa enu. Ubetimi asesa no. So bu ene guso. Esan abrani beye nti. Umbeso beye.
Ahom ketu amaba mu dwama no. Ebeni kose. Baby ade ene dada se wan fanto. Befeto. Wo bada ben a obesesa amamre. Nimpo amamre na obesesa no wote ase.
Broadcast or otherwise manifest your political allegiance or run political office, step away from the services. This is Supreme Court talking. It's not Closak speaking or Isaac Wampado speaking. This is the Supreme Court.
The Supreme Court judgment on the landmark case of Clockside versus the Attorney General has set the stage for a profound transformation. Introducing Resetting the Civil Service. Tune in to be part of this change, because a better civil service means a better Ghana.
I find it refreshing always when I remind myself of the profound statement by the eminent civil servant, with an anankwa of blessed memory, to the effect that it is the perfection of the civil servant that will move this country forward, and not the politician.
provide a robust platform for in-depth discussions surrounding employment relations, the rights of workers, the quest for industrial harmony, and evolving landscape of work. Wala to Walasa seeks to bring to bear the challenges and opportunities facing the labor force today, making a significant contribution to public discourse. My name is Edmond Akwe, your host for Wala to Walasa.
What asamu ma umachi ya mane diania ubinka zibutunshi lesashia ibikilika
ni wari oba fiase oba be uba be mama mi bebe se be bi se wunye
mana ka chawo kana na hunu ho kan hunu ho no kan ne yiripani na wo baako
e ba be aba no ma no
nye bu se pani atrase ahedin oyire no mu mienu yi bi ni ma ma oba be
kita ni se ko se onye ma do emenya ya fu na me se me wo baby
ko sie efi wisa eba sada no free access kwatati
wo ma ha man kan chiro so na nanu enima akola no hwe
ni si amamro phone ayedi ni pa moja na ya pa enu ubetimi asesa no so bu ene guso esa abrani beyenti umbeso beye
ahom ketu amaba mu dwama no
ebeni fosi baby ade ni dara se wan fanto ba
beto
wo ba da ben a obesesa amamre nimpo amamre na obesesa no wote ase
To add all those test like application to something like this.
Oh, okay. That's quick. That was quick. He's going to be able to draw level. Yeah. Wow. Wow.
And you're welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show. If you're just tuning in, this is the Koko Digest Morning Show. And like I said, today we are having our morning show with a bit of a twist. So we didn't have our online and newspaper review. We're having an extended main discussion. And the very first part of this discussion is the decongestion exercise or the initiative taken by the Accra Metropolitan Assembly to try to clear our roads, our markets, and, you know, so you get the idea, yes? So we're doing this with a public health officer. She's not new to this set. She's in the person of Madame Florence Kuchi, and she will be giving us some of the information about what is going on, what to expect. And also, my co-host Madam.
Good morning, my dear.
I hope you are well this morning.
By His grace, I'm doing well.
Okay, so for the sake of our viewers, if you can quickly just tell us a little bit about the AMA and what they do and how the decongestion is their prerogative.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me take this opportunity to greet your cherished viewers, and I bring you greetings from Accra Metropolitan Assembly, from our Honorable Mayor, Honorable Michael Alote Papo, the resetting man. Yes, the resetting man. So Accra Metropolitan Assembly is, let me say, the heart of Ghana, because nobody can come to Ghana without passing through Accra Metropolitan Assembly. And because of that, the beautification of the city is the priority of the mayor. The air that people breathe within the city is the mandate of the mayor. So when the new mayor was nominated and was confirmed, he made it clear that in his regime, he is coming to ensure that sanitation in AMA will be poor sanitation in AMA will be a thing of the past. And he's going to ensure that the city is being decongested to enhance free flow and economic activities. And I think it is just one aspect of the resetting agenda. Because if you want to reset a system, you must first of all reset the mental set of the people living within the vicinity before you can reset the system. So to begin to have a system properly set, the mayor started by conscientizing the minds of the people living within the metropolis. He did that intentionally with the mind of ensuring that the city becomes a place where everybody can visit and feel at home. You don't go to the city center to meet with social vices, health implications, and other things. So this calls for the decongestion exercise that you are seeing this week.
All right. Thank you so much. This has been very insightful. Like I said, my co-host is here with the data. So let's move to Clement to give us the data analytics for the decongestion exercise. Then we get into the conversation.
Sure.
Clement, over to you.
Thank you, Yara, and thanks to Madam for being here. I think she's doing so wonderful, and I would say that AMA is doing a good job. I like the fact that Yara, she said that this exercise is all about resetting agenda. But Yara, this is not a new thing. This exercise has gone on over the years.
Yeah.
So we just want to take viewers through this data we have here, because this is not a new thing. So people are asking the question, what is going to be the end result of this exercise? Is it just going to be like the previous ones we know, or this is going to be a different thing altogether? So going to this screen, this exercise was actually conducted in the year 1991 and also 1993. We experienced the same thing. That is under the regime of President late Jerry John Rawlings. And the areas that was affected was city center pavement, yam market, that is the aggregation market. And the main reason was to clear off the street hawkers, yam market traders. And the purpose is to ease presence or pressure on public workers' hygiene and also order in CBD. That is the center
Central Business
District we are talking about. In 2007, Yara, we had the same exercise. In 2007, it was also done by the Accra Metropolitan Assembly under Mayor Ni Okai, that is an NPP person. Also the same place, CBD and informal market. And the intention is to clear off the hawkers and relocate to Odana market. The whole intention is to beautify the city for the purpose of Ghana at 50. I think we all remember that incident, Ghana at 50. In June to July 2009, AMA also organized the same thing, and the focus was at Spintex, Oxford Street, and Circle. And this time around, it was street vendors and some stores touched. And the purpose is to beauty Accra for Obama's visit and also clean major VIP corridors. So you can see that anytime we take this exercise, there is a purpose. Looking at Jerry John Rawlings' time, looking at that of 2007, the purpose, looking at this time around, it's Obama's visit. So we like to ask AMA, what is the purpose for this time around? I think she'll respond to that. In July 2010, AMA did the same thing, also with Land West Partners, that is NDC government's PPP project. And the whole place they did was a Novotel and Circle area. And this time around, they were targeting 1,200 female fruit and vegetable hawkers. They want to take them off the street. The purpose was to clear land for $1.5 billion United States Octagon project. I don't know of this Octagon project. It's just close to where AMA is. So that was the purpose of clearing that or taking that exercise to. Yeah, in 2013, the same thing was done by Leo Vanderpool under the regime of NDC. And they cleared Rawlings Park, Makola, Oxford Street, and the intention was what? Traders, mainly women. That is the market women. The purpose was to clear pavement for pedestrian movement, reduce repeat encroachment. That was also the purpose for 2013. In January, when we go to 2021, April, just 2021, it was led by Mayor Mohammed Ajay Soa. That is the NPP regime. And that also targeted Rawlings Park. So you could say, always Rawlings Park, always Rawlings Park. But after they got Rawlings Park again, and the target was over 600 kiosk owners. They just want to take them off. The whole thing was to clear illegal structures, blocking parking and traffic, respond to driver compliance. Okay, let's get to just ended 2022, just 3 years ago, July 2022. Mayor Elizabeth Saki also went through the same process. It was 31st Makola Street, that's market share development. I think we know 31st Makola, yes. And the whole intention was displayed hawkers. So provide permanent stores and ease conjunction with infrastructure and non-infrastructure. That is the whole focus of this exercise. But people are asking the questions, why did this very initiative fail over the years? So going to this is what we gathered from people. They said, one, lack of relocation infrastructure or alternative market. This was the main reason why, or one of the reasons why it failed. So we want to find out from AMA that this time around, are they having alternative structures for them? Point number two was that punitive and forceful approaches without supportive measures. So we also want to find out that this was another cause or for failing. What are they going to do? We also have short-lived results due to inconsistent enforcement. Because this exercise, sometimes they just start 2 weeks and they are done. We don't see them again. 3 days, we don't see them again. We also have poor quality or unattractive relocation sites. So Yara, this was the data we gathered concerning the exercise that AMA is undertaking. So people are really asking a lot of questions that, what is new? What is so new about this exercise? Yara, over to you.
Thank you very much. That was quite extensive. So, Madam Flores, these are the questions. There are many, because from what Clement just showed us, especially from the perspective of these hawkers and traders, the relocation sites, one of the points was that it was not very attractive. And some of these people, they will tell you that the hawking gets them more markets than being stationed at one place. What are some of the ways that AMA seeks to, mitigate some of these issues?
Let me start with the last one. The hawking gets them quick returns than staying at one place. That is the typical mindset of a vendor or a trader in the city center. And then let's just look at the December the 2022.
2022.
The 2022.
Okay.
To what? To make stores, provide permanent stores.
Yes.
To ease congestion.
Yes.
The question is, were the stores provided? The answer is yes.
Okay.
The stores were provided. Women are being given shares to sell inside.
Okay.
But just as you said, the thing coming out to the roadside to sell, and then that is the women, the quick wins. They look at the quick wins than the sustainability of the program. That is one of the reasons why you take them out and they come back, because they don't think about their health. They don't think about their longevity. They don't think about their social impact. They don't think about the public health or the environment that they are within. So before, when I started, I said before you can reset any system, you must first of all reset the mindset of the people living within the vicinity before you can reset it. So a lot of these activities gone on from the 1990s till the 21st, let's say from the 20th century to the 21st century. But have we received the needed results that we want? You know, during creations, there were a lot of tribulations, things happened, a lot of God started speaking to people in parables through fire and others. Then when it got to a time, he started using prophets and all that. But it was all gearing towards something. Then at the end of the day, he brought his own child to come and stay with us. And when we saw that he was with us, some people started doing what? Changing.
Okay.
So you don't just start at once and get the needed results you want. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with just one step. So all the other predecessors have done their bit. There could be some mistakes or some inconsistency in other places. But what I believe is the downfall of a man is not the end of his life. It's a turning point. Yes. So anybody who will fall and think that that is the end of me is not a relative human being. When you fall down, it's a turning point. In Mandala, there's a saying that when you knock your leg on a stone and you fall down, you don't look back at the stone, but you are looking at where you fall. Whether where you are falling, it is good for you. It will not have another diverse impact on you. Yes. So the previous mayors have gone to the drawing board and they have come out with new ideas. And the last one, Madam Elizabeth, built stores at the Makola market. And I can hold your hand and send you inside the Makola market to show you the number of stores that she built. It was allocated to women. These stores are there. They keep their wares there and still engage people. They don't come out. They engage people, give the wares to them to go to the roadside to compete for space. Is it not mental something?
It's mental.
That is it. And that is greediness. That is human being. Human beings, we are greedy since creation. Even when you see how fertilization takes place, a man meets a woman, you release your sperms. It goes, a lot of sperm going into one egg to fertilize. Because of greediness, the one who want to get there first, and when the one enters, it closes, nobody can go. So man, we are greedy in nature. Yes.
I have a question. In the aspect of sustainability, that's what people are talking about.
Yes.
So what is the new thing this time around you are going to do to sustain it? Is it going to be exercise throughout the whole year or forever?
So, you know, in order to reset the minds of the people, you don't just do it in isolation. You bring the people together. You let the people own whatever you are doing. And that is why Honorable Alote Papo have done. Before she started this project, she met all key stakeholders, players in the system, in the CBD, the Central Business District. And he has explained to them what this project, the benefit that they are going to derive. The first benefit that they are going to derive is urban planning. Urban planning in the sense that when there is proper decongestion in the system, there is going to be free flow of traffic. And when there is free flow of traffic, people goes to town, the time limited that you can use to commute to town to town and back becomes limited. Fuel that drivers were going to use to stay in the congested traffic is going to reduce. You get little fuel, you go, you come back. So the city, the beautiness of the city stands out. You don't see congestion. And when you don't see congestion, everybody is harnessed. When you go to the city and the city is so congested, you know hepatitis B, you can get it through sweat. When we go to the city center, we touch a lot of sweat in and out. You don't even know who is a carrier. So all these things are part of the urban planning. Then after when there is free flow, it moves to economic benefit. And who benefits is the trader. Because when there is congestion, people comes in and they come to you direct to purchase whatever they want and they go back. It will boost your economic productivity. You understand? So we have made them to understand all these things. And aside that, let's come back. Then you have the environmental health impact. For instance, when there is traffic congestion, there is emission of a lot of fumes from the vehicles. Most of our vehicles are 20 years old and they are on the road. Just imagine the kind of fumes that they emit. And the air is being polluted. That have an effect on public health. Because the air we breathe in the city center, if we could see it, we wouldn't breathe. It's like turbid water. The whole air is being polluted, and now when you go to the hospital facility, the #1 case record is respiratory diseases. Even studies has it that annually 28,000 people die prematurely due to air pollution cases, and vehicular emission is about 45% out of that. You understand? Indoor is just about 25, so you can see vehicular emission is higher. So it will have an impact on their health and their people that are depending on them. Then we come back to the social aspect. When the city is so congested, you see that there are a lot of social vices. People steal, people do a lot of things that are not supposed to be done. It can even lead to accidents and all this. So you must explain to the players within the sector, this is what is happening, and they buy in. So when they buy in, you start with the task force activity. When you are done with the task force activities, then the law enforcers in the city center, that is the environmental health officers, will now follow up anybody who contravenes the laws, because what we are doing are clearly spelled in our bylaws. You are not supposed to sell anywhere. You must sell at the designated place given to you. Selling outside the designated place contravenes the sanitation bylaw 2017. So you can be taken to court and be prosecuted. So we will come in with the prosecution bit. When we arrest you, we are not coming to give you a notice or a summons. Then tomorrow we come and you are not there because you are not stable. So what we do is we arrest and prosecute immediately. And before we prosecute you, you must sign an undertaking. We give you a copy, we keep a copy, and we have the digital input in our computer. Tomorrow when we come to arrest again, and we type the name, and your name pop up with your telephone number, we know it is you. It means you are known. So when you go to the court, we will let the magistrate know that you are known. So you will not be fined to pay a fine. Maybe the fine is small, because in the sanitation bylaw, the highest fine is 100 penalty units. A penalty unit is 12 cedis, so multiply 12 by 100. That is 1,200. So maybe they give you 1,200, or they can even say pay 20 penalty units or 30 or this. It is little. You pay, you go and you come back. Not this time we are not going to pay that. You will go, they will be convicted. You go and stay in there for 3 months. When you come back, you come and stay by the roadside. And
This is the question, Yara. People or market women are complaining that they don't have anywhere to go. Because looking at the issue of relocation, you could see one of the major causes or failure to the earlier ones is that where they were relocated to was poor, was not convenient for them. So I want to know that what is the measures put in place to relocate people that you are now sacking? Because yesterday, for example, in the news, we realized that you introduced the red line again, and some vendors or some hawkers have even crossed, some have even crossed, and some are even selling just on the red line. So what is AMA going to do in the aspect of relocation?
So the red line is not a new thing.
Yeah.
The red line, because there's urban urban growth, rapid population growth, and there's pressure on the city center. The infrastructures we have, Accra Metropolitan, I'm talking about Accra Metropolitan Assembly alone, not the other 10 municipalities that are closer to the assembly. The Accra Metropolitan Assembly, we have 9 market centers in the Accra Metropolitan Assemblies. But because there's rapid population growth, they cannot all fit into the market. So that is why when you are doing anything as a leader, you must put in the human face while you are working. So to put in the human face, that is why we are going to deepen the red lines so that those that are already cited there, we put them in apportions so that this is where you are. They have wire houses. You don't need to go and bring everything of yours to come and be to put on the street. You can have some that you display. When somebody wants it, you just go and bring it and sell so that people can get spaces to enter. Those that will not get spaces to enter, the mayor with his own sense and apathy he has for the people, because it is his duty to ensure that everybody that is within his jurisdiction is safe, is economically okay, so that it doesn't lead to hooliganism. So he is trying to demarcate, to bring in what we call weekly market day. So within a week, there will be one day allocated to be market day for all those that did not have areas to sit and sell, because we don't want them to go and sit in the house. They will not get anything to feed or to support their family. So that day, some roads will be identified and blocked. Cars will not pass there. Then there will be a market day. All of them will come and sell their wares from morning till the following day. Then they will leave. And then we are also thinking of doing the shifting system. If the market is so full, during the COVID time, we did that. We did the shifting system. We gave them color coding. If you have color red, you have color green, you have color yellow. Today is color green. Tomorrow is color this. We did it and it works. So we can always do that. Yes.
So I would like to ask, I think I have about 2 or 3 questions in one. So the first one is, what specific areas have been targeted this time? Because over the years, it seems mostly the central business districts, but have there been any other places that have been added to the central business district?
So Accra Metropolitan Assembly, our main problem is the central business district. That is where the congestion takes place. You know, Accra has become a dumping site. I have mentioned it here before. Because a lot of people live in the outskirts of the city, but they trade their businesses in the central. That is why we call it central business district, not outskirt business district. So we want the central business district that there's a lot of pressure to decongest the pressure. So it's within the central business district, from the what will I say, where the city hall is, the AMA city hall is. True. So we are doing this in collaboration with Kolo, because we are within the central business district. So from that enclave through to Abubloshi, then the Konkoba market site where the Yam market is, then we turn through to Kaneshi, then to Circle, and then come today like this. Today's activities is taking place at a moment, please. Today's activity is taking place at Kwame Nkrumah Circle, the main roundabout to VIP roundabout, Las Palmas, Otublem Street, the TV Africa, Udomi, Glamour Enclave. Then we turn to Kaneshi Highway to the first line, then Pempremian, then Kaneshi Footbridge. So today these are, so we are done with the central business district. Now we have moved to the Circle Enclave and we are going to the Kaneshi. This all comes together to make the central business district. Yes.
So also, aside the reason for urban planning, is there any other reason for this decongestion? Like, what is motivating it this time?
The motivation is to beautify the city. You understand? When you are putting in proper urban planning, is to beautify. When I started in my introduction, I said Accra Metropolitan Assembly is the heart of Ghana. Nobody comes to Ghana without passing through Accra Metropolitan Assembly. No matter what. From the airport, you come to the city center to take a vehicle to wherever you are going. So it is our duty to ensure that the city is clean. The city looks attractive. When the city looks attractive, it brings investors. Because when you come and the place is good, you go and sell the good news, and somebody will follow you and come, and they will bring investment. And when they bring investment, it will lead to employment and to bring down the unemployment rate that we have. So we are using one stone to kill several birds.
Okay.
Yes.
So over the years, we still end up having the people coming back to where they were evacuated from. What is the AMA or what are these institutions going to do to make sure that this does not repeat itself yet about a 10th time by now?
Okay, so thank you very much. We all saw what they say, the 24-hour economy. So 24-hour economy is not only the white collar job. There are series of projects or programs that can come into it. So what the mayor is doing it, they have assigned security task force to all the areas that we are carrying out the decongestion. They will patrol in shift. Some will be in the afternoon, some will be in the night, some will be in the morning, to ensure that people don't come back. So when you come back, you will be arrested and be prosecuted. Nobody wants to go and stand in the court of law and come back and do the same thing. There is somebody, when you just mention, I'm taking you to police station, the person will collapse. People collapse in our hands. We will arrest them, and we are sending them for safekeeping to be sent to court the following day. You send them to the police cells. You will be in the house and they'll call you. The person you brought has collapsed. You must go there and take the person to the hospital. And mind you, it is not just about only decongestion.
Out of the fear or maybe some health issues?
Some because of fear. You know, it is not just doing away, but also it also aid in proper sanitation. The people just litter anyhow because they are not properly designated. When they are properly designated, we will help them with some waste bins that they can put their waste inside, so that at the end of the day we will collect it. So it will also improve the sanitation in the city center. That is another thing that we are doing.
So were the traders also given prior notice about this before the exercise started?
Yes, when I started, I told you that the mayor met all city players. The mayor met all key stakeholders in the city.
What about the traders themselves?
They have leaders. When you go to the market, every commodity has a leader. Yes, the number of commodities you count in the market that they are selling, they all have leaders. So we identify all the commodity leaders, have a meeting with them, spell out our agenda to them, and then they go back to have a meeting with their people. You see, the people were not rebelling. They were just going back. A typical Ghanaian is a law-abiding person. But the issue is, when you start something and nobody says anything, people think that it's right. Yes, so because they know it is not the right thing, because they have seen that even staying by the roadside selling, they are risking their life. There are times that accidents occur and people lose their life. Even if you don't lose their life, you become lame. You can't work again. You understand?
Or even some of your words get damaged.
Get damaged, and then you run at a loss. So all these things, we put all these together and put them before them, and they got in it. So the Queen Mothers, the traders union, the transport operators, they are all backing this.
Okay, so according to the mayor, in an interview that was on Tuesday evening, he said the reason why past initiatives like this failed is because they did not involve the market women. Do you agree to that? Do you agree with him?
I was not there, so I cannot, but I know that maybe improper planning could be something. You know, when we started, I said, before you do something, you must bring in the community that you are going to carry out the activity. Let them know the positive impact that is going to have on them. And then link it to the health impact that it will have if that thing doesn't happen. When you buy in their mind, you are resetting. And when they accept it and you give it to them, everybody, when you give something to someone to own it, they do it well. But if you push something on people, they will use it. There are times people need water systems. But when a philanthropist goes to give them these facilities, they don't bring communities inside. You dig the borehole, they will not come. Why? Because the women commute to go and fetch water. That
that is where they discuss about their husbands on the street to go and fetch their water. And then you come to put a borehole here. We cannot have that discussion. You understand? You must let me know the reason why I must go to the borehole. It means the stream is far. If the borehole is near, I can just go there to fetch water. And come back. It will aid in productivity. The water that you are fetching from the whole borehole is wholesome than the stream water. You must let the person see all these things before you give the facility. You don't just give facility to people because you think you want to give facility.
My last question: how long is this exercise going to last?
It is so. This exercise is going to last. Let me say the decongestion exercise as it stands now. It may take about 2 weeks, but the sustainability is going to continue throughout
the year.
Yes.
So I want to ask about consumers, because consumers play a major role in the congestion issue, especially considering the fact that we tend to also purchase in traffic, or when you go to, sometimes some of us, you go to Makola, you don't want to go inside, you just buy at the edges where the people are by the roadside. Have consumers also been involved in, or maybe desensitized about their role they play?
Yes, because even before we started, the information service unit made so much announcement in the city center for over 1 week before we started. And you know, in our law, if you are caught buying something by the street side, as we are arresting the vendor, we are arresting you because the buyer and the seller all are at fault.
Yes.
If you don't buy, the person will not sell.
I think this
So if you, I said, if you are caught buying things by the roadside, when we are arresting the buyer, when we are arresting the seller, we are arresting you, the buyer, because if you don't buy, the person will not sell. It is in the bylaw. Sometimes we just try to use human face. If you want to enforce the law to the letter, everybody, including all of us sitting here, will be in the grip of the law. Yes.
So in the situation where, you know, looking at our climate, we are sitting in traffic and we are thirsty and things like that. I mean, in the Western world, they have rules where they've been able to check hawking and things. But how will we move forward in a situation like that where now we don't have hawkers on the road? So when we are sitting in traffic and things, we can't buy our plantain chips. We can't just stand by the roadside to buy something. What about that?
When you go to the Western world, you don't see anybody hawking. If you want to buy anything, you go to the supermarket to go and buy whatever you want to buy. There's a vending side you can get to buy whatever you want to buy. Why can't we do it? You know, there's a time I say the typical Ghanaian is lazy, but we are smart. We are smart in the sense that we have identified that the political elite, they are weak. So we use our smartness to intimidate them. What do we do so? Yes, we do so because if you remove me from the road, I will vote. Because the political person want a vote. Oh, don't let us do that. If we do, they will vote for us. Why don't we do it? So that when we do it, we provide the facilities. People, you take a product and go and stand by the roadside. The sun is on it. Then the chemical reaction that takes place on that particular thing. So there are a lot of things we buy by the roadside, and then at the end of the day, we end up pricing ourselves. I bought a chewing gum. It's because I do that work. So me, when I buy anything, I am always conscious about the date and everything. When I bought the product, in fact, I didn't check early. So I put the gum in my mouth. The taste, I didn't like it. So I said, let me check. Do you know what they did? They tore the date and went and printed the same label and then used it to cover the container. So if you are not smart, you will see it. So I have to tear it. When I tore it, the original label was on it with the fake label. So I am just educating my brothers and sisters who buy things on the street. We should be careful. Those that are selling the things on the street, they don't have our health in their heart. They are thinking about what they will get. They are killing us on the street.
Are you saying those selling they don't have?
They do not have our health in their heart. They are there because of what they will get. So they are just churning anything to us. You understand? People are there who use polythene bag. They put plastic bag in the oil to fry plantain chips to make it hard. Wow. Do you understand? Yeah. So we go through all these things. That is why I say the buyer and the seller, they are all at fault. If you don't buy when we go to travel outside, we don't buy things at the roadside. Don't we leave? Are we not there? Yes. Why is it that we can't do it here? Yeah, what's the difference? It's because we think we can intimidate the political elite, the representatives, and then they also fall for us. Then when an enforcer goes to take action, then they pick a phone, and the person also calls you, drop that case, do this. But when you drop the case, how do you enforce the law? You want systems to work, and you don't want to enforce the law. Why?
Right. So we have videos of some of the interactions with some of the traders. So we'll view that quickly, and then we conclude on this matter. Then we go into the next segment of our main discussion.
Center, and today Michael Alote, the mayor of Accra, has promised to start a demolition exercise here in Accra. I'm currently in front of Kimbo Sectec, and you can see on a normal day this place is busy. There's no easy like that to find your way through, but I can find my way through. I can walk freely, and people are walking freely here. I want to talk to some of the traders to know their concerns in this particular exercise. Hi, madam. Exercise need to say me who say
exercise I don't call but Siciano the way and I'm about high because
I didn't
oh says Siciano and I had the Shayamba and Benisa in the maybe you are a quack. It's me that Shan Falana. It's a slab and on Shankakra. But I say come for her. And I say no for all say quite than say. Won't you bet me Ashen say and to your son or on boy and on Jai say in my and unless I dear and boy.
So these are concerns from some of the traders. They are worried about their businesses, but we'll still continue the exercise in the afternoon, and we are hoping to hear something positive, create more ways for passengers or commuters, and we'll see how this particular exercise goes, whether it's a one-day or it will take throughout the time. We will see what happens next.
It's a very good initiative they've taken, but the thing is they shouldn't do things partially, like considering some people and then other places it's like they are clearing people over there. They should put us at appropriate places, a place that when we are selling we are not grumbling. I mean, we will make sales to go to the house and feed our family. You know, some are schooling, some are in the university, and right now sales is very bad. You know, the economies are no money. People cannot buy. Things are not going how it's supposed to go. So the indigenous within the country, we are suffering. So if they are making it so hard, it will be hard for us too. So they should put us at appropriate places and give us a little freedom, you see, for us to make. Those on the road, they should clear them. That one there is a point. Those sitting on the roadside, they are causing all this harm. They are causing all these mistakes. They have to be cleared out of the road, so that those like this, where we are okay here, and this is a good place for us to sit. So Major is working. We are thanking him, but he should be a little considerate, and that is all. It's a very good initiative.
So, wow, that was a very passionate submission. So, as she said, they should put them at appropriate places. Have there been any appropriate places that have been demarcated to relocate most of these traders that are being cleared?
So, before this exercise began, we did the assessment in the markets that we have, and then we have identified all empty stores that are in the market. Okay. So traders have been reassigned to these stores to go into the market. That is also those that will not get space in the market, they are the ones we are putting behind the red line.
Okay.
So you know, when you are a leader is not a best leader. A leader is a best leader when people that are working with you are happy. Then you are also happy. So you put in the human face. So the red line demarcation on the pavement, because the pavement is large. So the pavement has been divided into two the pedestrian walkway, and where the people can also sell their wares.
Okay.
And those that will not be able to get the pavement, we know the people are many. Yeah. That is why the weekly market day is for those persons. Okay. So these are all the strategies we have put in place to ensure that the congestion at a program that or project that we are undertaking, it will be sustainable.
Okay.
Yes.
So wrapping up, what would you like to say to our consumers and to our traders about the decongestion exercise? Maybe some admonishing words before we take a break and start the second segment.
So what I'll just summarize the benefit that this decongestion exercise is bringing to them. They should know that when the city is beautiful, people will come to them. When there's traffic flow, it will reduce air pollution. Their health, they will be strong, they will be healthy, they can do their work. There will not be social vices. People will not steal their things. There will not be accidents, and they will be strong. When you stay in the market and you sell your things, it brings dignity. It's just like going to someone's office and the person left the office and is sitting outside. And you go and meet the person outside and you are talking. It doesn't bring in dignity. You understand? It doesn't bring in trust. But when you are in your market, you are in your toll, it brings trust. If I come to buy something and maybe I left something in your shop, I can trace back and come and take it. That is trust. And to lead to people coming to you because they know that you are trustworthy. Let me tell you, there was a day I went to a supermarket to go and buy things. I paid, I left. I didn't even know that the lady made a mistake and gave me the price. So after I paid and left, she was doing her balance and then she realized that I overpaid. She took the money, tied it and put it down. Another day I went there to buy and she said, "Oh madam, you are here. The other day you overpaid." She gave the money to me. I have to give her some because it is not everybody that will do that. So it gives you trust, dignity, and it unveils the work you do and harness yourself. So I am pleading with them. Sitting by the roadside is not good for them. The people that they are supporting in the house, they need them. So they should go into the shelf and get the money and go home and support their children. They shouldn't see by the roadside and then something happens to them and then it will be all.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, so we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll start the next segment. Don't forget to send in your comments and questions as well, and so we'll be right back.
In a world where neutrality in the civil service is paramount, Ghana finds itself at a crossroad.
Clause says that a certain action should be taken, but government has to act on the basis of law. So we inquired as to what the premise for that demand is.
They say if you wish to broadcast or otherwise manifest your political allegiance or run political office, step away from the services. This is Supreme Court talking. It's not Closer speaking or Isaac Bampado speaking. This is the Supreme Court.
The Supreme Court judgment on the landmark case of Clockside versus the Attorney General has set the stage for a profound transformation. Introducing Resetting the Civil Service. Tune in to be part of this change, because a better civil service means a better Ghana.
I find it refreshing always when I remind myself of the profound statement by the eminent civil servant, Lieutenant Anankwa of blessed memory, to the effect that it is the perfection of the civil servant that will move this country forward, and not the politician.
To add all those test cloud application to something like this.
That's crazy. That's quick. You're gonna be able to go level. Yeah. Wow.
music lovers, we are the perfect to get ready for an unforgettable music experience on our upcoming show, Happy Hour with the Cluster Band. We are bringing you a live show with electrifying tunes, good vibes, and a whole lot of fun. Whether it's singing along, dancing, or just soaking in the atmosphere, we have something for everyone. Expect surprise performances, exclusive behind-the-scenes stories, and a chance to connect with us like never before. Don't miss out. So tell a friend to tell a friend. And join us for Happy Hour. Get ready to rock it out. Happy Hour with the Cluckside Band.
They say is the backbone for national development, playing a vital role in shaping economic growth, fostering social stability, and enhancing overall productivity. As the workforce undergoes continuous transformation, it is crucial to not only educate but also to actively engage all stakeholders in meaningful discussions on labor policies, workers' rights, and current labor trends. In response to these pressing needs, Clock TV introduces Walatu Walasa, a dynamic and engaging program dedicated exclusively to exploring the multifold realms of labor issues. This innovative program aims to provide a robust platform for in-depth discussions surrounding employment relations, the rights of workers, the quest for industrial harmony, and evolving landscape of work. Walatu Walasa seeks to bring to bear the challenges and opportunities facing the labor force today, making a significant contribution to public discourse. My name is Edmund Akwe, your host of Walatu Walasa.
Wari ọba fiase ọba bá wù bá bẹ́ẹ̀ máa bẹ̀bẹ̀ sẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ bí ìṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wọ́n yẹ yẹ. Sọ́dọ̀ kọ́ tí wọ́n fún nàná gbọ́n kọ́. Kàní wọ́n yẹ náà kọ́ ní yìí bẹ́ẹ̀ ní náà wọ́n bá kú. Bàbá bẹ́ẹ̀ apá ni wọ́n á lọ. Ní ẹ̀kọ́ sí ní ẹ̀tra sí àhìdí òyìnbó mímú mìíní bí ni wọ́n máa ọba bẹ́ẹ̀. Kàní ìjọba kò sí ẹ̀ ọjọ́ máa lọ ẹ̀mí ní ayé kọ́ ẹ̀mí ní ayé kọ́. Òkòtò yẹn fi wò sa ẹ̀bà sáadà náà ó fi àtàkùn àtàkùn. Wọ́n máa mama kan kyerɛ so na mama ɛnum akɔla no hɔ hwɛ.
Si amammerɛ fóònù ayɛde nipa mogya na ɛyɛ apae no wobɛtumi asesa no so bu ne gu so ɛsan aboro ne bɛyɛ nti wompɛ sɛ ɔbɛyɛ.
Ahom ketewa mɔba mo dwa mo no. Baabi a deɛ kuda no sɛ wɔafa. Wo ba da bɛn a wobɛsesa amammerɛ. Mpo amammerɛ na wobɛsesa no wote ase.
Test cloud application to something like this.
That's crazy. That's quick. You're gonna be able to go level. Yeah. Wow.
In a world where neutrality in the civil service is paramount, Ghana finds itself at a crossroad.
Cluster says that a certain action should be taken, but government has to act on the basis of the law. So we inquired as to what the premise for that demand is.
They say if you wish to broadcast or otherwise manifest your political allegiance or run political office, step away from the services. This is who God's talking. It's not Cossack speaking or Isaac Bampado speaking. This is the Supreme Court.
The Supreme Court judgment on the landmark case of Clockside versus the Attorney General has set the stage for a profound transformation. Introducing Resetting the Civil Service. Tune in to be part of this change, because a better civil service means a better Ghana.
I find it refreshing always when I remind myself of the profound statement by the eminent civil servant, Lieutenant Anankwa of blessed memory, to the effect that it is the perfection of the civil servant that will move this country forward, and not the politician.
Music lovers, we are the protagonist. So get ready for an unforgettable music experience on our upcoming show, Happy Hour with the Cluster Band. We are bringing you a live favorite electrifying tune, good vibes, and a whole lot of fun. Whether it's singing along, dancing, or just soaking in the atmosphere, we have something for everyone. Expect surprise performances, exclusive behind-the-scenes stories, and a chance to connect with us like never before. Don't miss out. So tell a friend to tell a friend. And join us for Happy Hour. Get ready to rock it out. Happy Hour with the Clockside Band.
Development. Playing a vital role in shaping economic growth, fostering social stability, and enhancing overall productivity. As the workforce undergoes continuous transformation, it is crucial to not only educate but also to actively engage all stakeholders in meaningful discussions on labor policies, workers' rights, and current labor trends. In responding to these pressing needs, Clock TV introduces Walatu Walasa, a dynamic and engaging program dedicated exclusively to exploring the multifold realms of labor issues. This innovative program aims to provide a robust platform for in-depth discussions surrounding employment relations, the rights of workers, the quest for industrial harmony, and evolving landscape of work. Walatu Walasa seeks to bring to bear the challenges and opportunities facing the labor force today, making a significant contribution to public discourse.
My name is Edwin Akwe, your host of Walatu Walasa.
All those test cloud application to something like this.
That's crazy. That's crazy. You're gonna be able to go level. Yeah. Wow.
And you're welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show. If you're just tuning the very able Nanaya Wasari here to help me with this segment as well. And this segment is going to be focusing mainly on the floods, the May 18 crisis that we faced. And on behalf of Clock TV, we want to send our deepest condolences to all those who lost their lives and property. We know this is a very trying time for you. And we have esteemed officials here who are going to educate us on some of these issues and also the way forward. So I have my first guest here with me on my immediate right. She is Muriel Omari. She is the Central Analysis and Forecast Officer of the Ghana Meteorological Agency Head Office. And then in the middle, we have Mr. Amoyate. He is the Director of the Inspectorate of NADMO. And then we, as we already know, we are acquainted with Madame Florence Kuchi, who is Public Health Director at the AMA. Good morning once again, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. And so quickly, Madam Muriel, can you tell us what exactly Ghana Meteorological Agency does for the sake of our viewers?
Okay, so good morning once again. From Ghana Meteorological Agency, our main duty is to provide weather and then climate services.
Okay.
That's our main duty. So anything about the weather and then anything about climate services, that's what we work on.
Okay, Mr. Yati, NADMO, what does NADMO do for
NADMO is the state agency mandated by Act 927 of 2016 to manage disasters and similar emergencies, and also to develop the capacity of communities to respond effectively to emergencies and disasters.
Okay, so thank you so much. So we already know what the Accra Metropolitan Assembly does because we heard from her earlier today. So let me take a few comments that we got and then we start the conversation on the flood. So this goes to the AMA. So this one says, good morning, I'm Eben from Kabinya. Decongestion of our cities has been with us for so many years, but it doesn't last due to political influences. I will wish mayors of big cities to be firm this time around to sustain it so that there wouldn't be traffic in towns. This is from Eben, yes. And then we also have another one here. He says, kudos to AMA, God bless them. I can walk well in Accra. And this is from Mrs. Kwachi in Kaswa. Please, when is AMA coming to Kaswa? God bless you all. Kaswa is not in AMA's jurisdiction, right?
Kaswa is Central Region. So Central Region, they will also start their own. Even within the AMA is now left with 3 sub-metros that make up AMA. So we have the Okankwe South that bounce around the Kaneshi, the North Industrial Area, Bubuashi Enclave to Atiko and come back. Then we have the Ablekuma South Municipal Sub-Metro to take around Kolebu, Choko, Kamara and 8 Enclave to Mamprobi side. Then we have the Ashedu Keteke. That also take the CBD, the Central Business District, through. That is it. So it's just within the central, and you go along that. That is AMA. But there are adjoining municipal assemblies that were formerly with AMA, and the closest ones are Ablekuma Central and then Koleklote.
Okay.
Yes.
I think we'll just have one day where you come and educate us so that we know which institutions to direct our issues to. So the floods, May 18, it was pretty devastating, and I heard that they said it was one of the most terrible floods we've had. So GMET, can you tell us a little bit about the floods we've had in the country over the years, if this was one of the really bad ones?
Okay, so per the data we have, the recent one we had on Sunday, we recorded about 25 millimeters, which is not close to the 212 millimeters of rains we had on 3rd June 2015. And so looking at the data we have, this is not even close to the highest or the top 10 rates that we've had.
Wow. So what are some of the key factors that led to this flood issue?
Okay, so what happened is on Saturday we had some rains, and then I think from last week also we've had a bit more rains. And so the ground is clogged. And therefore water is not able to percolate anymore, because let me say the ground is saturated, so it cannot hold any more rains. And so the little rain we had on Sunday, just let me say it just stayed on the surface, because there is no more space to lead to percolation anymore, and then that led to the flooding that we had.
Okay, so I just want to find out that it's not about the volume of rain that we recorded, that is really about the topography of our land.
Exactly.
I know there were rains, right? And you're talking about the vast difference between 212 millimeters that we had of rain, and then now we have just 25. So we are even nowhere near. We are just above 10% of it, even thereabouts. And it looks as though the situation is still the same. So is it that the GMET, that is, do you have maybe a part to play when it comes to town planning and all that, considering the topography of the land and where people actually do? So what role do you play in town planning, if I could say?
Okay, so when it comes to town planning, Matthew has no hand in doing that. Yes, our duty is to just inform you on weather and climate issues. Anything concerning topography of the land is nowhere close to our duties.
Okay, Mr. Yati, was NADMO prepared for something like this? Because I think by now we are aware that from April to about July, heavy rains are to be expected. Was NADMO prepared?
We are very prepared. To start with, we have a relationship with Ghana Meteorological Agency. So at the beginning of every year, they give us the forecast for the year, and immediately we receive the forecast. That triggers our planning processes, and then they give us intermittent warnings as and when it's approaching. Sometimes then in 2 hours time we should expect rains. So when we have the warnings, then we pre-position, because we already prepared and we have our men in place. But what happened on the 18th, if you look at the areas that it impacted, that is the Ga East, Adenta, and then some parts of Quantana. But these are municipalities that sit right in front of the Krapim Ebri Range mountains. And she said that it was only 25 millimeters of rainfall, and we have had some rainfall which had already saturated the grounds. Then the rainfall up the mountains, you know, look at current development where the vegetation on the range is giving way to structures. It means that more runoffs than the slopes, and then more runoffs and low infiltration, because everywhere is concrete. So there's nothing to hold the water. That's why it was felt heavily in those areas, even though it was just about 25 millimeters in Accra. But what about the mountains, and how much of that rainfall they flow down to those areas?
Okay, so was NADMO able to respond to some cries from people who were affected?
Yeah, we responded. In all, we rescued about 28 people who were trapped, deeply trapped in Lakeside, Abokobi, Pantang. We rescued them. And then evacuated quite a number of people. At least in Adenta alone, we evacuated 34 people from their homes and then put them at the safe haven.
Okay, so there are some of these neighborhoods that are being called new neighborhoods or new cities. Is it because these places were probably waterlogged at some point, and then there was no settlement, and now people are being greedy and they are using that as a means to make money, and so these areas that are affected apparently have been waterlogged? Because I think Lakeside is called Lakeside because there's a lake there or something like that. Are these also key factors contributing to something like this?
So those parts of Accra generally is low-lying.
Okay.
And if you go back in history, Adenta Enclave had a lot of natural retention areas because of the volumes of water that flows down the Krapim Range. But with our current way of developing, all those areas have been reclaimed and buildings put up. And so the planning of the cities, the development, all rests with the assemblies.
Okay.
They have the legal mandate to structure all these things and plan the cities. So that is it.
Okay. So as he's put some responsibility on you. So I want to ask, the places that have been flooded now, are the assemblies going to probably start some demolition exercises to clear waterways?
Let me educate us a bit. It is not for anything that there is the National Building Regulation, the LI 1630, which were enacted in 1960. Then we have the Building Code, that is GS 1207, and that was introduced in 2018. These laws, it was not just for nothing that these laws were enacted.
Okay.
There were rules and regulations. For example, if you have a plot of 100 by 100, the law says that you are not supposed to occupy the whole plot. Though it is yours, but you are not supposed to occupy the whole plot. If you are building a single detached story, you should occupy 50% of the plot.
Then, yes. You say, I bought my plot 50K or 100K, I should occupy only 50%.
So you should not occupy 50. You should occupy 50% of the plot. Then the reason is that when you build your house and it is raining, the water from your rooftop is supposed to fall under your compound.
Okay.
When you are building a double story, you should leave 40% of the land, then use 60%. When you are building your fence wall, you should leave 3 feet from the wall to the fence wall. So that when the rooftop water is still falling, it will fall inside your compound. The environment should be porous, it should not be hard. Hard in the sense that immediately you begin to put in tiles, there are some chemicals that you are going to use to hold the tiles, and that will close the porosity of the water. So when water drops from the rooftop, there is no percolation, and water must find its way out wherever you are. We have building inspectors in every city, even if they are not many. When people come to take their building permit, all these things are always taken into consideration before the building permit is being given to people. But they go to build the houses, they decide to tile the whole place. Let's go to the East Lekon Enclave and see what the rich people are doing. Who building inspector goes there to say that you have covered 100% of your yard, remove some. Money talks in this country. Nobody will listen to you. But when it rains, we go to the poor people who have placed the structures, the wooden structures, at a place that they will survive. We say they are the people blocking the waterway. But people have flouted the building code and need to be sanctioned. They should do the right thing. You understand? So the assembly has a role to play. Me always what I say is, for city to be healthy, for systems to work, everybody has a role to play. The media has a role to play. The assembly has a role to play. Just as we are sitting here, it's division of labor. Metro is supposed to inform what is happening, so that within the weather, then NATMO will know that yes, this is what Metro have said. It means there's going to be heavy downfall of water. If there will be heavy downpour of water, it means there is likely to be flooding. If there will be flooding, what do? Let's identify our hotspot areas. Then we make areas like safe havens, so that when there is flooding, we can rescue people and send them to the safe havens. It is the duty of the assembly to also ensure that people comply with the laws and regulations that are in the system.
Right. So speaking of safe havens, NADMO, do you have safe havens for people who may be afflicted by such?
We have safe havens in all MMDAs. Like when people were evacuated in Adenta, there were 15 of them. The one good thing that we have in this country, which we consider as a very strong coping capacity, is family and friends. In times like this, families, friends who want to take them in. So few people who want to go to the safe havens. In Adenta, 15 people were sent to the safe haven till the next day when the floods receded. And then so we have safe havens across the country.
Okay, so I saw videos of people's buildings submerged to the roof level. Now, your safe haven, basically the water level may not drop for some time. Maybe it could take about a month before their houses could even be seen. Are the safe havens open for that long for people?
As I speak to you now, we don't have anybody in safe havens because nobody has been, like I said, we have the family and friends coping capacity. So most of the people who were displaced in that night were taken in by family and friends. The few we kept in safe havens left the next morning when they had made arrangements, and others, because the water levels have receded, they went back to their homes to prepare the place.
So assuming they don't, how long is one allowed to
stay? Well, as long as you cannot go back home, you have to be at the safe haven. For as long as you cannot go back home, you'll be at the safe haven.
Okay. So I think Nana has some questions for
just a few of them. So you mentioned about the Act of 1960 and talking about the distances that we should give when we are building. Now, this act was passed in 1960, as you mentioned.
1996.
1996. But when you look at the nature of buildings and then the nature of urbanization, how people have sort of moved from rural areas into these particular areas. Now, when people are building, the building permits, as you said, is given and based on all these principles that you mentioned. But it looks as though people just build just to make way for water to just leave their homes. If there's flooding in the area and it's not in my house, I don't have a problem. But it is the same MDAs that are still giving out these permits. And I think there's an inspectorate board as well. The Act makes mention of that particular thing, that there's an inspectorate board that comes around and then comes to ensure that the building is going on as purported or as planned. But it looks as though we just see this ongoing or going on and on without any without any solution, if I can put it this way, to these same issues that we've been talking about. So what are the assemblies doing about them?
You know, there's a saying that if there's a law and the enforcement is not being taken place, it means it's an advice. Yes. A law that is not enforced becomes an advice to the people. So sometimes the human resource is also a limit to the work that we do. When you go to the MMDAs, there are a lot of departments that are under-resourced with a human aspect. For instance, you go to Works department is supposed, they are in charge of carrying out the inspections. How many Works people are ready to work in the Works department? Because it is an operational department. Of late, a lot of people are not ready for the operations. They want the soft aspect. They don't want the physical aspect. That is another thing. So lack of human resource is affecting the enforcement of the building code. So employers should look at that side. And then academic institutions should mount courses on those areas, so that when people go to take those courses and they can get places to fit in. You know, people go to the universities, go and offer banking, business administration, blah 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 blah. They don't want to do the operational test. For instance, people are saying the Samasama people are not there. But the Samasama people are there. Me sitting here, I am a chief Samasama. I am a tank castle. I summon people. I counsel people. You understand? But the issue is maybe the inspectorate unit, every inspectorate unit must go with a uniform. But if the uniform is not there, you will not be seen. You are carrying out the inspection, but people will not see your impact. For instance, you are a building inspector and you are going to someone's house to go and carry out inspections, and then you are not in uniform.
Nowadays, because of criminal activities, a lot of security issues, a lot of people are so much concerned about the people that comes into their homes to carry out their mandated activities. So all these things must be put in place.
So you made mention. I'm just going back because you made mention of the National Buildings Regulations Act, which is the Act in 1996.
And
the
code.
and the regulations as well. The LI 1630.
Yeah.
So when you look at Regulation 129 all the way down to 131, it talks about how rainwater is being supposed to be disposed of, or maybe the arrangement for that. Some segments of it is making available rainwater tanks and all that. But you are the same bodies that give out these permits. But if then there are still complaints of the fact that these permits are being given to people and they are building without all these things or these necessary approvals being done, then and it's coming from the same people who are supposed to give out the sort of necessary permits or make sure that this is supposed to be done, then it looks as though you're doing your own work, because 129 all the way, it's clearly stated. Just because she mentioned, I've quickly gone through. It talks about rainwater storage. That's in Regulation 133. Regulation 132 talks about rainwater gutters and pipes. Regulation 131 talks about even roof drainage. Talks about the size of the pipes and all that you should have. But you have these, and then the building plans are given to you, or the permits are given to you, yet they are approved. But these are not what we see practically when we go around.
That is why I said, before the building permit is given to you, there are a series of people on the board. We have the environmental health officers, an officer from environmental health on the board. We have fire service on the board. We have EPA on the board. We have NADMO on the board. There are a series of people on the board that, in the committee, that sit to look at the permit and go to site to do inspection before we come and approve the building permit. We give the permit to you because you have all these things in your building plan. Then you go out to go and do, because we don't have enough officers that will be doing the monitoring, the regular monitoring, regular inspections. Others go and do the contrary. That is why I just made a humble appeal that educational institutions should mount courses on some of these, so many courses on some of these things, and also appeal to the Ghanaian youth that they should find interest in the operations job. It is not that the soft component. It's because of the understaff. That is why most of these things are happening. Areas that officer, because when you pick a building permit and you are building, at every stage, the inspector must be there to see whether you are following the rules.
I know approval is done in stages, so we finish this particular case and approval is given to go to the next.
So because we don't have enough staff at the works department or at the spatial and physical planning department, that leads to some. You give the permit for the person to go and do the work. But they will do the right thing. Yes. So the little that you have, once in a while, you go around to see whether they are doing the right thing. For instance, on the building permit, fire service will tell you must make room for fire detective and other things. People who finish with their house, they don't have a single fire detective. Even fire extinguisher, they don't have it. When they are done, and the fire service officer is asking them to even come and pay and collect the fire certificate, it is an issue.
And I'm sure that discussion, if you're supposed to delve deeper, we have GMET here as well. We also want to hear from them, since this particular act alone talks about rainwater and preparation for rainwater. So we know you have a presentation on that as well for us. So we want to find out the rains. How do we forecast them? Is this just the beginning? Because we are just saying that this is 25 millimeters. And we've recorded on 3rd June, the famous June 3rd disaster that happened. We recorded 212. So now, how then, what's the forecast? Are we safe? Because we are just at the beginning. If everyone will talk about that, we are just at the beginning. So we are also seeing some graphs in front of us. We are seeing red and blue areas. Does red mean we are in danger? Can you educate us a little bit?
Okay, so there's a satellite imagery, specifically convective RGB satellite imagery. So
can you explain the converted RGB? I know RGB means red, green, and blue. Yes, so what we do with this is we look out for areas where we have convective activities. So when I say convective activities, I mean so we have the sunshine on the surface where we have air mass rising, and then it forms some convective clouds. So the rains we are having is as a result of the convective clouds that have been built up as a result of the sunshine we had. Okay, so back to the imagery. If we want to see areas where we are having very active rain storms, we look out for the area shaded yellow. Yellow.
Yes.
Very active rainstorms.
Yes, very active rainstorms.
So we are right from the image. We are seeing somewhere in and around the western lower belts around the Axim area. And then we're also
a little towards Greater and even in Greater Accra.
And Greater Accra, the northern part of Greater Accra.
Exactly. Yes. So this was captured at 1300. That's 1 p.m. on Sunday, and that's around that time that we started having the development. So at 1300, we saw the sitting right on Accra, and so if we moved to 1400, we realized that now it was intensifying. So the image we saw at 1300, that's 1 p.m. It was very small. Indicating that it was
spreading right there.
Exactly. And even the one over the range, the Gulf, the ocean, was also drifting inland. Yes, and then it was intensifying.
So is there a way we can get this infographic before so that it will just at least warn us pre-warn us so that those who are living in flood-prone areas can actually leave, because we are looking at 1 p.m. we are looking at 2 p.m. These are the periods that the rains were actually Is there an infographic or a way that we can know beforehand so that, because this information now goes to tell us that this is what actually happened. But is there a way that, I know Ghana Metro, you have like sophisticated equipment. I've been to your office on a couple of occasions.
I also have a variation of his question. Can we have like a live view, let's say a collaboration, let's say maybe Ghana Metro and Cloud TV, where since it's cloudy, then you give us feed that, okay, this is what's happening live right now. So those of you watching or those of you streaming, you can be seeing the yellow moving. So wherever you are, start going home or something. Can we have something like that?
Yes, we can. So we have the weather platforms. You're on WhatsApp, you're on Twitter, now X, you're on Instagram, all the social media platforms. You're on them. Where we send out information. So we have something called weather warning. So anytime we see that, so on Sunday we sent.
We actually see them on our WhatsApp platform.
So these are the analysis we do, and then we get to know coupled with other chats we use in the office, and we're able to inform the public that okay, this rainstorm is coming, and that is going to affect these areas. And so when you see a weather warning graphics,
the famous WhatsApp messages.
Yes, so you will see the areas being captured with the time frames being stated over there. And so, as our lady said, if we can have like, yes, we are even praying that you come to our aid, so that when we inform, you can help us spread the information to the public. Because what happens is, we give out the information, all right, but the publicity. So radio stations, TV stations,
they need to,
yes, so when we send them out, they can amplify the information we put on our platforms and in our our social media.
We want you to move on. We want you to move on with your presentation. Then we note our questions and then we ask.
So this imagery is just about how the rainstorm progressed on Sunday. So when you move to 1500, you would see that it was intensifying now, and then now a lot more areas were reporting rains. So these are graphics that were just showing how the rainstorm was propagating on that day.
This is actually true, because I was in and around the western region around the same time that the rains were being recorded, and the infographic is actually telling the same.
So we use this in monitoring what's happening currently. Yes, because there's a live imagery that happens, and then we're able to tell, okay, that's how the storm is moving, and then these areas are going to.
Okay, so with the areas marked yellow, does it only tell the intensity or how long, or it tells how long it's been raining as well?
Okay, so I can tell how long the rainstorm will stay at that area.
Okay.
And so we have other charts that we look at. And then we look at out for some curvatures, and then we do some analysis on those charts.
Okay.
So let's say, let me bring in a bit of technical words here. So let's say we are having convergence over Greater Accra at all levels. So let me say 95 all the way to the upper level. And then we are having a divergence at the level. It means that at that area is going to be very conducive for the rainfall to stay for a very long time. And then if other conditions that we analyze are also very conducive, then we can say, okay, it does rain, and then how strong the winds are will also indicate. So let's say we have very weak it means that the rainstorm is going to stagnate at that place for a very long time, and then it's going to cause continuous rainfall over that area. But then when the winds are quite strong, it means it will drift the rainstorm quite faster. So how strong the winds are indicates how fast the rainstorms will move, and then how weak they are will also indicate how long they'll stagnate. So we do all these analysis, and then we're able to
so this is at 4 p.m.
Yes, so as at 4 p.m. you could see that now it had spread all the way.
You can see that it's also looking at the direction of the wind as well, because it's moving westward.
Yes, so when you see typical weather on you, okay, so there's a rainstorm observed happening drifting westward. That's
every day is coming from the name.
That's where we mostly have our rainstorms and rainstorm. Yes, so that's how we form. Okay, so it's coming. So that's what we are expecting it to do.
So just before we move on, now we actually have I've been from your presentations convection. But growing up, we all know that we learned about the 3 types of rainfall. Does this also cover cyclonic rainfall, relief rainfall, and then the convectional rainfall as well that we definitely know?
Yes. Yes. So it's all coupled in this. So with the convection, it's just about the sun.
Okay.
Yes. So the sun.
So when it hits the
surface of the earth,
okay.
We have air masses rising. So they end up in forming the clouds, condensation, cooling, and then now precipitation occurs. Yes, so that's basically the process you go through. So looking at this chart, there's a rainfall, just a graphics of the rainfall we had on Sunday.
Okay.
So over the Greater Accra region, you'd see that our legend on the far right, we're having rains over 30 to about 50 millimeters.
Yes.
So it wasn't anything. Really? Yes. So that's
scattered in around the middle belt, especially.
Yes, so that's why we had the
8, 4, 10. Looking at the graphic.
Yes, so these are the stations, the rainfall stations.
Okay.
The one on my left.
Okay.
Those are the rainfall stations.
Those are rainfall stations. Can you elaborate on that for us?
So we have rain gauges all around these areas where they record the rainfall amount. Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
It looks like you have a lot in and around the Greater Accra region, especially
the coastal also between a part. Okay, let's say the lower delta from the eastern region, central Takrady. I think the coastal belt basically was most affected. Then the middle to the savannah. And now I sound like a weather was not so heavy.
Yes.
So it means that even with all this, people's buildings being submerged, this is not our highest record of rainfall. Then it means we are in trouble as a country.
Yes.
So now, not more, please.
Are you done with the presentation?
Yes. Do we have more information on that?
I think
for the future forecast as well.
Okay, so we can.
Okay, let's take the future forecast. We can ask.
Yes, so page 19, where we have, so this just indicating the onset dates we gave.
Okay.
So for the West Coast and then the East Coast, we are forecasting for the range to start within the second week of March.
Madam, so we are seeing a lot of zones. We have the 4 zones, West Coast, East Coast. We want you to educate us like undergraduate students.
Okay, so we can go to the map. Okay. So I'm going to use the B.
Okay.
So the B. So we have we can see Doma, Sinyane, where the light blue color is, the chain.
Okay.
So that area is a transition. All the way in Tampo, Winchi, Atebubu, that side is a transition. Ketekwachi not being left out. That side is a transition zone. And then we come to the forest zone where we have Kumasi, Hu, Seshibekwai, Enchi, Dunkwa, Onofin, and then that side is a forest zone.
Okay.
And then we come to the east coast. So east coast, around Akachi, Ada, Accra, Tema.
Yes.
So that's the east coast. And then we then come to the west coast where we have Cape Coast, Salt, Takrade, Adzim, Half Assini. So that side carves out the west coast. Yes.
Perfect.
So when we go back to our plotting, so we can see that, okay, so for the transition zone, we have the normal onset dates, and then we have the forecasted onset dates. So the transition zone, we were forecasting that within the second week of March, and then the first week of April, they should have their range starting.
Okay.
And then the forest zone too, we forecasted that from the 4th week of February to the 4th week of March, they should also have their rains coming in. And then the West Coast follows that way, 2nd week of March to the 1st week of April. And then also the East Coast from the 4th week of March to the 2nd week of April. And then it actually happened around the same time where we started observing the rains within these zones. Okay, so when we go to the cessation period, where so around, yes, so still it follows the same pattern as if we want to see the cessation. If we want to see the okay, so if we want to see the cessation for these areas, so let me come back to East Coast. We are expecting the cease on the 1st week of July to the 1st week of July. So 1st week to the 2nd week, that's when we are expecting the rains to cease.
That means this is just the beginning.
It's not started already, so we're expecting it to continue all the way into the 2nd week of July, and then the West Coast too, we're expecting it to cease from the 1st week of July to the 4th week of July.
Okay, so this has been very, very educational. It's time for a quick break. I would like to remind us all to send in our questions. NADMO official is here, AMA officials are here, and then GMET is also your Ghana Meteorological Agency. So yes, ask them your pressing questions and, you know, get something and put on your knee for the rainy season that's coming. As you can see, it's just the beginning. So when we come back from the break, we'll continue with our questions. We'll read yours out loud too and learn more about our preparation for the floods. We'll be right back.
They say is the backbone for national development, playing a vital role in shaping economic growth, fostering social stability, and enhancing overall productivity. As the workforce undergoes continuous transformation, it is crucial to not only educate but also to actively engage all stakeholders in meaningful discussions on labor policies, workers' rights, and current labor trends. In responding to these pressing needs, GovTV introduces Walatu Walasa, a dynamic and engaging program dedicated exclusively to exploring the multifold of labor issues. This innovative program aims to provide a robust platform for in-depth discussions surrounding employment relations, the rights of workers, the quest for industrial harmony, and evolving landscape of work. Welatu Walasa seeks to bring to bear the challenges and opportunities facing the labor force today, making a significant contribution to public discourse. My name is Edmond Akwe, your host of Welatu Walasa.
Back to the Koko Digest Morning Show. If you're just tuning in, this is the Koko Digest Morning Show. We're having the main discussion and we are talking about the floods. And we have officials from the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, the NADMO, which is the National Disaster Management Organization, and we also have the Ghana Meteorological Agency here. And we've been learning a whole lot. So we'll continue with the conversation very soon. We have a comment here. This one is from HMJ. He says, wow, I'm highly enlightened about the plots we've bought and the dimension of the construction on it. The laws and acts are not enforced by the inspectorate. Thank you very much for your comments. Please do well to send in your comments to our WhatsApp number. The rains is just the beginning. So I think most of our questions now will be directed at
just a few concluding questions. And I actually enjoyed the discussion. Now I know that we are in the East Coast. It's not only in America that we have the East Coast. But anyway, so my next question is on the accuracy of the data that you give. Because oftentimes we see some of these famous WhatsApp messages that the rains are coming from Benin. So wherever you are, you should actually, and maybe economic activities are stopped, and we rush home only to realize that it didn't rain. So we want to find out whether these warnings can come with probabilities. There's an 80% chance of rain, so that if someone wants to be a gamble on the chances of rain, maybe 50-50 staying where they are and doing something. So that is one aspect. And then also we've seen that the periods of the rain, but do we have any, let's say, metric to measure the upcoming ones? Let's say we're expecting millimeters of rain in and around the middle of June, or something, if you can get that as well, so that those maybe living in flood prone areas, knowing that 25 NISA, then 30, it means we should actually evacuate or leave where we are.
Okay, so about the probability. So our forecast is based on probability only. And then I will tell you that if you see 30% and then you want to say that because it's 30%, you want to stay where you are, then I promise you, you will get beaten by the rain. And the reason being that, so every area has its own climatology.
Okay.
So let's say, let me use Sunday's rain for instance. So someone reported, the nice thing is on our WhatsApp platforms, people give us live updates on what is happening. So someone reported that it's raining very heavily in Ho. So let's say Ho has a lot of trees and then that area is very conducive for the rains to come in. And then you base on that and then say, okay, Ho is reporting very, very heavy winds. And so Accra is also going to report similar rains. I bet you it will rain very heavily at my end, all right? Probably because I'm having some trees over there. But then you who is living in an area where you have no trees, yours might be heavy, but not as heavy as mine.
I think that even happens for where I live. I live in a area, so I'm quite close to the Ethiopian. It will rain heavily there. You get to Medina and there's nothing.
Yes, because they basically have trees. Do not have trees around. So it's basically on the climatology of the area. And so we use our models and then how active we are observing the rainfall, and then we use that in informing the public. And so say that immediately if you see 5%, you should act on it, because now we are in the season. The rains have started already. So yesterday I was at our office at the airport where we had stratiform clouds. So you would say in the month of May, in the month of May, you are not expecting it to produce anymore so much rains, because that really happens in July and then August. But yesterday it was raining all through at the airport. But we are not supposed to have such a condition in the month of May. In May we have the sundry activities and all that, but it's changing. So anytime you see our probability, and then I remember the forecaster on duty gave 40% chance. Someone will say it's nowhere close. But yes, you shouldn't. We didn't even give 50. Because 50 is like gambling, 50-50. No, so we don't even give 50.
So is there a way to actually be? I don't know. I don't want to say more accurate, but is there a way to be more precise on the fact that if you give out a communique that it's going to rain today, then definitely it's going to rain today?
Okay, so if you follow us keenly, you would see that narrative is changing. Yes, because back then the way we used to have updates on our satellite images was quite wide, but now every 15 minutes you have. So it helps us inform. It's way better now. And then we are also some measures are being put in place to get radar, which will also help us forecast the rainfall amounts, and so that will also help us boost the confidence the public has in us. Yes, so
definitely we are confident.
So I have two questions. So my first one is that, what does it mean when you say maybe 30% chance of rain, and at what point or at what percentage should we be seriously alarmed that, hey, I need to get somewhere safe? And then my next question is, with the issue of it's raining in airport and it's not supposed to really be that as a result of climate change or global warming.
Okay, so with the probability, I'll take all forecasts serious. Even if it's 10%, especially when you see the clouds gathering, just take it serious. Because we are using models, and then models, they have let me see, some hits and then some misses. So
it's a standard deviation.
Exactly. So the error margin will be in there, and then we use these models in our forecasting. So we use those ones and we see what's happening currently, and then we forecast. And so I would say even if you see 10%,
take it serious.
Yes, take it serious.
Last one.
My second question. So is it as a result of climate change, or global warming, that we are getting rain falling at relatively odd times in the year?
I would not say odd times. There's month of March all the way into, let me say, June. It's the major rainy season for southern Ghana. So we are expected to have rains, but just at the type of rain that comes in. So yesterday, for instance, what I saw is basically a July, August kind of.
Yeah, I'm asking that, is it climate change?
I would say climate variability, because the data we have hasn't really changed. So I would say climate variability. Yes, not really.
So I said last time.
So please, viewers, you are calling the WhatsApp number. It is not for calls. Please send your WhatsApp messages there. When the call number is open or the phone lines are open, I will alert you. This number is for WhatsApp only. Thank you very much.
Yes. So you talked about even if it's 5%, we should run. But are there instances where the probability? So I want you to talk about the probability, the milliliters of rain being recorded. Can a 5% chance of rain actually rain so hard that we are going to record 30 milliliters of water of rain, or maybe more?
I didn't get that.
So there's the probability or the chance of it raining, and then there's the milliliters of rain being recorded. So we want to find out whether maybe there could be a 10% chance of rain or let's say, as you said, the 40% chance of rain, and then it will rain so much that we record maybe 30 milliliters of rain, or maybe more than that, or there could be 5% chance of rain, and then we even record, let's say, 80, 90 milliliters of rain. That's what I want to find out, the distinction between the probability and then the milliliters of rain recorded.
Or does it play a role in how much rainfall we get?
Okay, so let me say that when we go all out, so when we see 60%, 80%, then it means that we are seeing the pictures very well. We are very, very clear, and all things are pointing out to rains. That's when we go all out, 60, 80. But when our models are not really giving us a very good picture or painting a good picture of the whole thing, that's when we want to reduce how we go all out there. So let's say I'm using my wind charts, and then my wind charts are pointing out that okay, I'm going to have some maritime winds coming in, but then my pressure charts are saying that my pressures are going to be very high. So when I see high pressures, it means that they are not going to be too conducive for rainfall. So even though my wind chart are showing that yes, I'm going to have influx of moisture, I would say okay, let me give that probability of rainfall. But then when I see a rainstorm coming all the way from Nigeria, maybe drifting towards us, and then you analyzing your conditions ahead of the rainstorm, and then you realize that conditions are very conducive for rainfall. That's when we go all out there, and then we give out the 80 and even sometimes 100.
I think you're right. We should get an extensive discussion of each and every one of the.
I think we need to start collaborations with Ghana Meteo so that whenever there is a warning, if we can even be doing it on TV, where every 15 minutes, please, it's about to rain.
Very happy. That's been my sincere prayer. Because it's like when after the rains have set in, that's when
everybody starts. It makes sense. So, to you, Nadbo, please, what relief efforts are being put in place now? Because it seems our flood issues are only getting worse. More areas are getting affected over the years. What efforts are being put in place?
Well, we have activated our contingency plans. We did that somewhere in March. We did our contingency plans for response. And then all our collaborating agencies are on the alert. That is why when it was happening on Sunday, we were able to move with Ghana National Fire Service, Ghana Armed Forces, and Ghana Police Service into the areas to rescue people. And the assemblies are expected to also ensure cleanliness of our drains and the clearing of our waterways to ensure a smooth flow of water. And when you go to every assembly, we have what we call the Disaster Management Committee. Which is
I think she mentioned that there's always not in the assembly.
She was talking about the Special Planning Committee. There's the Disaster Management Committee that is responsible for planning disaster. And then when you look at the Local Governance Act, Part 4 is also dedicated to prevention of disasters, and then so the assemblies have a big role to play. So we expect that at this time we are clearing all the waterways and then ensuring cleanliness of our drains. This is what will contain the runoffs and then ease the flooding in the communities.
So what about, just a minute, what about emergency contacts and the possible safe havens? What are the locations that people can easily access?
Hotlines, there's a national hotline, emergency hotline 112. And then offhead, I can only mention 0299 350 030.
So 0299 350
It will take you straight to NADMO and then Emergency Prevention Center.
And
112 the national emergency hotline. But there are about 3 other numbers that can get you to NADMO. I can give them to you so you project after
Okay, sure. Thank you so much.
So my question is about once again, like a little bit of law. So I've come back to the national Disaster Management Organization Act 2016, assented 1st September
927.
In 2016, Act 927. Now it talks about the object of NADMO. It talks about the functions of NADMO. So the object also, what I've actually seen over here, that's AI. It actually says that Section 3 AI. It says that be responsible for creation of the government policy on disaster prevention, disaster risk reduction, and climate risk management. These are one of its main objects.
Functions.
Functions, yes. That is. So now we always see NADMO, or maybe I may be wrong in this particular instance, but the way people see NADMO is not in the eyes of prevention or risk reduction, but actually mitigation. That is when the risk has already occurred, and let's say we need to evacuate. But NADMO is not seen in the eyes of, let's say, for instance, saying that prepare, coordinate, and monitor disaster management plans, collaborate with communities and relevant institutions through dissemination of information on educating the public on human activity most likely to cause disasters in the country and all that. We see NADMO as
The
emergency response. After it has happened. The Act is also saying that you play a role even before it happens.
But over here,
in
I just talked about our collaboration with GMIT.
Yes.
It's before. So the things that we do before are not captured in the media. But the media is interested in the response when the people are trapped, people are in distress. That's where attention is focused. That's where you see us. But over here, I've talked about before, how we start with Ghana Meteorological Agency, how we work with the assemblies through the Disaster Management Committee, which is chaired by the Chief Executive Officer. So, yes, we start, not only, we don't wait to respond. We start, the thing is that, most of the hazards, like you look at floods, we have the Ghana Hydrological Authority. That is a state agency mandated for floods. They are responsible for the drains, the storm drains and all that. So we are collaborating. We work with them. And so all these things are before the floods. But then maybe they are not covered by the media. So people don't get to know. But then when it happens, then everybody's interested and then you see a lot of work going on.
So the reason why we may ask this question is because maybe you do it. That's why I said I may be wrong. But the overt display, sometimes it's good to overtly display what you are actually doing and all that. It's not coming to the forefront of the media. So maybe there are plans to change that as well.
Right. If the media gives us the opportunity, like we have the now and we are talking, the media will only come to us when there is a heavy rainfall. Then everybody starts looking for NADMO.
So basically,
but before the rains, nobody will come. NADMO, what are the plans for the year? What is it that? Yeah.
So basically,
and I'm always in the communities, educating the public. When the weather information comes, we have community information centers where we broadcast all the information to them. And then when we get it at the headquarters at our ears, we disseminate it to the communities. So we do all these things before, but like I said, it's only the response that...
Okay, so basically we need to encourage more media collaborations with these institutions to disseminate information. Yes, people have sent in comments and I'll read them shortly. The phone lines have been opened, so please call in and ask your questions, but keep it decorous, as I always say. So we have a few comments here. I'll try to filter them. So it says, we should be bold and speak the truth. We do not have our country at heart. And public workers think of their pockets when they are going out for demolition. When they are going out for demolition, do they call for military assistance? Why can't we do same to enforce the law? This is from Chief. Then we also have, please don't send in comments that will anger anybody. I can't fight. So we also have another one here.
Okay, yes, let me get it quickly. So it says, honestly, with all these discussions in education, Ghanaians believe in the warnings coming from platforms that are from foreign countries like Google. Honestly, you still hear people saying, Apu, Ghana Meteorological Center have warned that it would rain. Apu, it won't rain. Yeah, this is from Daniel from Ofanko. And he says, that's our problem. We take things for granted. Please, NADMO should also advise Ghanaians to buy land during the rainy season to be sure that that place is not a flood land when it rains. Okay, so we have a caller on the line. Hello, good morning. Thank you for joining the Koko Digest Morning Show. What is your question?
Hello. I want to contribute. I'm so happy to.
Okay. Your name and where you are calling from, please.
My name is Mami Tebi. I'm calling from Dansuma.
All right. Thank you for calling.
Yes. Madam, please, I'm so happy about this concerning the AMA giving to people for the residential area that build any house to disturb people. Come and see where the staircase my house shows somebody's house. And the wall is close to my wall. It's almost 20. Nobody's doing anything about it. I'm a victim. So we have to don't think about only the water place. This calls the whole flag in the country. You have to be very vigilant. You have to be very careful. Because the wall, the building is on the wall. Old walls, terrible. I can show pictures to the AMA one day. You see, the way things are going is very sad as a country. The AMA, they should use and force this thing to work for the country. So I wish I can get the contact of the woman, the AMA woman's number. I can get
So I think we to educate our people. Please go on. Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
So I need help. I need help from them.
Okay, so
what should I do?
You can direct her to the appropriate authority since it's not under AMA jurisdiction.
So, ma'am, you visit the Ablekuma West Municipal Assembly.
Okay,
ma'am. You can go and lay your complaint. When you go, you look for the Works Department. As I was, it is right, she rightly said it. You go to areas, people build houses on top of the wall. It is against the law to build your wall on top of your fence wall. You are not supposed to build a wall on top of the fence wall. Your house should be in the middle where the fence wall goes around it. Building a wall attached to the fence wall on top of the fence wall is against the law, and then that building can be demolished. Yes, without compensation.
Wow.
Okay. So thank you very much.
Welcome. Thank you so much for calling. The lines are open, so yes, please do all call in and ask your questions as well. Thank you.
Yes, so I was saying that another thing that we often ignore is the fact that enforcement can be quite a very difficult job to do. If NADMO is enforcing, let's say, their preventive actions, if AMA, if all these institutions are what they are supposed, what is actually supposed to be done, we actually see political lashbacks that we need to this political party anymore. We are not going to, and this right now becomes political. That's also an area, a big elephant in the room that we refuse to talk about, because it is something that is supposed to be done. We've seen comments on social media, we've seen videos on social media, people bragging about their positions when it comes to the party that they are affiliated to. But then when it comes to the demolition, they are being affected, and then they are saying that they are not going to vote for this particular political party anymore. So enforcement, madam, how then do you manage this? How do you close your eyes to the political leaders and still do these particular things?
You know, at the beginning, when we were talking about the decongestion, I said something. I said the typical Ghanaian is lazy but very smart against the representative. You know, these representatives need their vote, so they use that term to blackmail the politicians, if this is what you are doing, we are not going to vote for you. Or somebody who is violating the law is politically influential.
Okay, you need to hold that thought.
We have a caller on the line. Hello, good morning. Thank you for joining Koko this morning show. Your name and where you're calling from, please.
Good morning. Maybe the Reverend Mofa. We come in our studio.
Amen.
Any question, sir? High tension. The high tension will what's happening. Level Sudan, how many meters away from the Sudan?
So I know that high tension radius not less than 50 meters away from the high tension because of the race. So we are not to build our high tension. Even what do you call it? Fitters are under the high tension. They are always advised not to work directly under the high tension. So I may not be correctly right, but I know it should be more than 50 meters away from the high tension before you can build a house.
Okay. So to add on to this question about the high tension, what about, say, you've gone to, what about if you go to buy your land, right? And this plot they've cut for you, the high tension is in the middle. How do you manage, or just you refuse to buy?
You don't buy. The high tension is the line. The high tension line is for government. It's just like a street.
But you know how the people who own lands these days are? They are literally selling any kind of land.
I saw your
plots.
I told you the buyer and the seller they are all at fault. If you don't buy, I cannot sell.
That's true.
If you don't sell,
if you don't sell, I will not buy. If you don't buy, I will not sell. But yes, the head.
Right. Okay, we have one more comment. I think this goes to Ghana Material. This one says, what theory defines the rains? Because not long ago, the weather was so hot and days passed a heavy downpour. This is very raining.
So talking about high tension, just because one of our viewers asked, once again on the regulation LR 1630 1996 building regulations, it's talking about regulation 13 sub regulation 3. It says that no building shall be erected over a drain, culvert, water course, high tension cables or sewer, except that a district planning authority may pass the building plans if it considers that it can properly agree to the proposal in the circumstances of the case. So this is on high tension. So it's saying that if you are building around high tension, it doesn't even give a radius when it comes to the regulation. It's saying that do not build in and around it.
So a land that has a high tension pole not less than 50 meters away from it. So our
for me, this is problematic. You understand? So the same law or the same regulation that is preventing you from building is guiding you to build under a high tension. It talks about if there is a proposal that shows that
everything that the district planning authority may pass that building plans if it considers it can probably agree to the proposal in the circumstances in that case.
A proposal from who? Proposal.
So maybe
the same thing has to do with waterways. There's a proposal. There's a proposal.
And it's passed.
Then also, if you apply for a permit and within a certain number of days, there is no response, you consider it approved and start development. Avenues that
are in the law.
Yes.
You have to actually look at.
Okay.
So what do you take advantage?
There has to be some reviews of some of these laws as well.
But they also tell you that there are reasons why it is so.
We need to brief. So when you are making the law, you give some briefing space that people can
and that is what is expected.
Because you are in the human institution.
Then it becomes like a legal arbitrage that people are taking advantage of.
So with the question about me, I think that was also
no enforcement. That's why when you look at in the thematic areas for disaster risk reduction, we want the citizens to focus on compliance. If you comply with the regulations,
there will not be need for enforcement.
There will not be need for enforcement. And the compliance is in your own safety. It's for your own safety that you have to comply with building regulations. But most people think that it is the money they pay for the permits. They think the government needs their money, the assemblies need their money. So once they make payment, they apply and they make payment, they think they have a permit. We have had several cases at Nadmo where the people say we have permits. They produce some document. We invite the assembly. The assembly looks at it and says, no, it's not a permit. So I can say that most of these areas that I will call them hazardous locations, the structures, they don't have permits. But most of the people, they have applied for permits. Once you apply for permits, you make a payment to the assembly, and that is not a permit.
Right.
They won't pay for your application.
These are quite interesting terms. But I think if we have to do
a part two, because there's a lot to. But this last question that is pending, what theory defines the rains? Because yes, it was very hot some days ago, and there was a heavy downpour. Anything that we should know about it?
Okay, so I would say it's just about the resting period. So I think 2 weeks ago we had continuous rain, and then it needs a buffer, a resting period, and then the sun comes up, and then the whole place is very hot. So when another rain comes in, you realize that it comes with the sandy activities, and then the continuous rainfall and all that. So it's just let me say the climatology.
Okay.
Yes, especially for us in the tropics. Yeah, so it's just nothing too serious.
Yeah. Okay. So one more comment. He says this is Mr. Asante, and he says kudos to Ghana Meteorological Agency on their presentation. We hope to see more of this presentation. Thank you so much. All too soon. Our time is up. We are learning. Pardon?
Can I make a quick point?
Okay.
The forecasting. Sometimes we have a little difficulty. Because we don't have unlimited resources.
Yeah.
We need to pre-position, we need to target.
Yeah.
So if the warning comes, Southern Ghana, then where is Southern Ghana?
Coming from Benin.
That's why sometimes people say the forecast didn't come through. Because they said Greater Accra. In between Medina, it didn't rain in Odoko. So Odoko people say the forecast. So that kind of targeting.
Yeah.
We are looking forward to a period, a time when you'll be able to tell us Odoko, Dansuma, so that we can reposition and then target.
Stands now, unless maybe you call a very big prophet.
We the chance of that we have with repositioning and targeting our response.
So that's point forecast. What you are talking about is the point forecast. There's a lot of work, but we'll get there.
Right. Thank you all so much for joining. Our time is up, but if briefly each of you can give us closing remarks, maybe like 20 seconds each, then we close and then schedule for a part 2.
Okay, so the little I have to say is the public should pay attention to our forecast. We are on all social media handles. You can search for Ghana Meteorological Agency on X, on any social media handle, and then you'll be able to get our weather updates every day. When there's a weather warning, you receive them, and then please put so much emphasis on it when you receive them, because I heard the comment which said, they have tasting the foreign platforms, but they come for the data from us.
Oh, really?
Google uses our data, and then they come up with the forecast. So someone mentioned this, and then I wanted to follow keenly how their forecast goes. Use a forecast for rains, and then it doesn't even happen. So as I mentioned, we have that error margin. So it's not as if we are doing so bad. They should pay attention to our forecast, and then
because you just mentioned error. Because you just mentioned error, just some viewers may think that it means wrong, but you just have to advise them that it's based on mathematical principles.
It's based on models, yes. It's based
so
on
when they say error, it doesn't mean it is wrong.
And then also the public also think that we issue the Google weather, most of them. So when they come for the educational trip at the agency, they think we issue the Google weather. No. Immediately you see Ghana Meteorological Agency on the letterhead, and it means it's coming from us. Anything aside what I just mentioned is not coming from
us. So until when do we have like an app for Ghana?
We roll it out. We are working on the test phase. It's called Faster. And then we also have
Faster.
That's the name of the app. And then we also have the car palette.
Okay.
Yes, so we are working. It will be rolled out.
Okay. So I'm sure that the next time you'll be coming to
Yes,
definitely.
Okay, so thank you so much, Mr. Yati. Your closing remarks to others.
Tell the viewers that NADMO is in every assembly. It's part of every assembly in Ghana. And beyond the assemblies, we have zonal offices in the communities. So if you are in a flood-prone area, approach the nearest NADMO office and know your safe haven. So that when you receive the weather warnings, you can self-evacuate before you get trapped. And then also, those who think they can cross flood waters, most of the fatalities are because people think that they can cross. My vehicle is a 4x4. It can go through the flood waters. They should not dare. If you are traveling or see anywhere that is flooded, just stop, park. If there's no alternative route, park and wait till the water has receded, because you have no idea the undercurrents. So that is my advice.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, so AMO also tell the public that they should stop disposing refuse in the drains.
We didn't mention
disposing waste in the drains leads to flooding, and when there's flooding, there's loss of life, properties, and other things. So people should register with accredited waste collected company and own a dustbin so that you don't indiscriminately dispose of your waste. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. I think we definitely need a part 2 of this conversation because there are so many facets of this conversation we need to touch on to educate our viewers. So right now, Nana, I'll give.
I'm okay. I've been a insightful conversation with 3 panelists. It's been really knowledge enriching. So that's why I say I can't wait for the part 2. Maybe we should have abridged versions of them individually, so we can delve deeper into the subject matter. I really enjoyed the presentation by Ghana Meteorological Agency as well. Mr. Yati, as usual, he was on point, and then Madam Kuchi too has been very much enlightening. So we can't wait to have them again on Koko Digest.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you all for joining us to hear about the decongestion exercise and the flood issues, the incoming rain. So please do well to also make sure to keep safe. Make sure to take initiatives to self-evacuate if you are in a flood-prone area, as Mr. Moyati said. And of course, keep an umbrella by your side, keep a raincoat. And if you have a car, give your friend a lift here and there when it is raining. Show some kindness and generosity to one another. Thank you all so much for your time. We'll see you next Tuesday bright and early. Do have an amazing weekend.
Clark TV, beyond the policy.